Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine now because people who have joint pain are getting real lasting relief without drugs or surgery. And I know firsthand because I'm a client. Hey, it's Greg Gaston and welcome to being pain-free. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting treatment. They use highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. If you have ongoing joint pain from arthritis or injury, you need to call QC Kinetics. Don't assume that steroids and surgery are your only option. Times have changed, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Discover this remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years. Thanks to QC Kinetics, this amazing treatment option is now available for folks like you and me who are sick and tired of joint pain. Don't put this off any longer. Spring is coming, and you want to enjoy all life has to offer. Call QC Kinetics now at 901-445-1010. Get a free consultation with local medical professionals. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event is on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Come test drive the all-new 2023 Outlander plug-in hybrid electric with 420 total range, 64 combined MPG, and 38 minutes best charging time. And you may be eligible for up to $7,500 federal EV incentive and $1,500 lease cash. Come check it out at Gossett Mitsubishi. Plus 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander with 3 rows of seating for up to 7 people. We Gossett at $499 a month or buy for $34,055. Looking for some peace of mind in your new ride? How about Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty? 2023 Outlander, $499 a month, or get 1.9 for 36 months and test drive the all-new 2023 Outlander plug-in hybrid electric. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Outlander PZO 12158 MSRP 34555 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Welcome in, everyone. Happy Tournament Day, at least the start, day one. It will be a busy couple of days, and then, of course, it will continue into the weekend. March Madness is upon us. We welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings on this Thursday, March 16th, 2023. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Of course, Family Leisure, you should know it by now. Their preseason patio and pool sale continues on. All kinds of great bargains at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The first hour of the program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Today, we're looking at warmer temperatures. Right now, it's cool in the upper 40s, but we're looking at a high of about 65 today. However, rain is a-coming. Won't get here until at least early in the evening, according to the forecast. So you're looking at a mixture of clouds, a little bit of sun today, and then rain tonight. But again, the temperatures will rise into the mid-60s. Coming up on the program today, Sean Coleman will join us at 8:05 from Bluff City Media to talk Grizzlies. Steve Spinelli at 9:05. Steve's a longtime college basketball assistant coach. He's made stops at places like Maryland and Wichita State, Texas A&M, and was the Boston College interim head coach in 2021. He's now a podcaster. He's on the other side. He's on the evil side with us in the media. Talking college basketball. We'll get his thoughts on the NCAA tournament. Again, that'll be at 9:05. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sports 56 listener lines at 901-360-8255. You can message us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or on the website at www.sportsmemphis.com. We'll also make our East and South region predictions and then come to a conclusion of who will cut down the nets when it's all said and done with the national championship. So plenty of college basketball. Of course, the Grizzlies, their game last night, not so good. They lose on the road to Miami, but tons of news involving Ja Morant, including the news from the NBA. Finally, their investigation concludes with an 8-game suspension. Ja speaks out for the first time, so we will dive into that in just a moment. Also, the WNIT tonight, the Memphis Tigers in action as they will host Jackson State over in El Marone Fieldhouse at 7 o'clock. And still plenty of NFL news, including Aaron Rodgers speaking on the Pat McAfee show saying he wants to play and expects to play for the New York Football Jets. That's all coming up on the program today. Happy tournament.
Happy tournament day to you. That is Scott Spinelli, not Steve Spinelli.
Did I say Steve? I'm sorry. I wrote Steve for some reason.
Yeah, 11:15 today. Your Maryland Terrapins tip it off. They get it underway against West Virginia.
Well, here's the problem. If you don't count the first four, and I know they're counted, they're part of the tournament, but let's just say for a second, you're not counting those guys. The Maryland Terrapins could be the first team knocked out. I'm worried. I'm very concerned. I don't like the matchup with West Virginia. Maryland has been infamous for their crappy play on the road. Now, I know this is a neutral court game. They just don't play well away from College Park. They have a lot of talent, but I'm worried. So, yeah, as you said, 11-15, that'll be the first game of the tournament other than the first four games.
Yeah, the first wave of games today. West Virginia, Maryland tips it off. Then Furman, Virginia at 11:40. Utah State and Missouri, which figures to have a whole bunch of points being scored in that game at 12:40. And then at 1 o'clock, Howard and Kansas. That's the first wave of games. Again, games will be on CBS, True TV, TNT, and TBS, as you'll be able to see all of the action of the tournament.
And Charles Barkley, who I love, diving into the college basketball realm, all those guys doing that, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but they're always entertaining. Last night, first four, two blowouts. Fairleigh Dickinson all over Johnny Jones's Texas Southern squad, 84-61. So Fairleigh Dickinson will move on to play Purdue in Columbus, Ohio, where the Tigers are getting set for their game with Florida Atlantic Friday. And, of course, the winners of those two games will match up on Sunday. By the way, a very nice crowd to say good luck and wish the Tigers well over at Lori Walton yesterday. We plugged it on the show a couple of times. I saw the video from the little event as the Tigers jumped on the buses and headed to the airport. Very nice. It brought back memories of the days of John Calipari with folks waiting at Wilson or being there for the Tigers to send them off, and so that was really nice. But last night, Arizona State, all over Nevada, nearly put up a C-note, 98-73, as the Mountain West's postseason woes continue.
Yeah, the games last night were not much fun. The night before, fun. Last night, not much fun. Imagine being Nevada. Nevada shot 48% from the field. Very respectable, very good. They were 11 of 21 from three-point range.
Wow.
Over 50% from three-point range. 12 of 14 at the free throw line. And they were never in the game.
Nope.
They just, because the Arizona State basically didn't miss a shot in the game. They made everything. It was that one, this whatever 16-0 run or whatever early on, and it was just never close after that. It not much fun watching the first four last night.
We're going to get to the Grizzlies here in just a second, but I saw this from, I forget which publication tweeted it out, but it's Ken Palm's numbers. And it says the most underrated teams in the NCAA, according to their seed, where they were seeded, and how they're ranked by Ken Palm. The most underrated team is Utah State. Second is West Virginia. Third, the Tigers of Memphis. Fourth, Arkansas. Fifth, Creighton. Sixth, Florida Atlantic, who plays Memphis. Seventh is, I can't even read my own writing. 8 is Boise State. I don't know who the hell that is at 7. But point being is teams that were seeded lower, and then Ken Palm has them higher in his rankings. That's where they come up with this list. It's not just willy-nilly. It's numbers that he comes up with. And again, the Tigers, but Florida Atlantic also looked at as one of the most underrated teams in the NCAA tournament. All right, last night in Miami, really no contest. Grizzlies' 3-game winning streak is gone. The Miami Heat, as we talked about yesterday on the show, a little bit more of a desperate situation for them. They want to be in the playoffs and not the play-in. And they beat the Grizzlies 138-119 as the Grizzlies fall to 41-27. Sacramento pulls one out over Chicago in the last seconds. So we got a flip-flop again, even though they're both 41-27, the Grizzlies and the Kings. The Kings have the tiebreaker, so the Kings technically in second place. It was not good. You had Desmond Bane ejected after a flagrant 2 foul call on his low hit to Kevin Love. When I say low, to the nether regions. Did not look like it was intentional. I don't know, but he was thrown out of the game. Obviously, you're already without Ja. You're without Steven Adams. You got some really good, solid performances by the big names for the Heat. Bam went for 26. Tyler went for 24. That's Tyler Hero. And Jimmy Butler for 23. So balanced scoring, and Miami gets the win.
Yeah, not a real good defensive effort by the Grizzlies. The Heat shot nearly 60% for the game. They were 45% from 3-point range. Like they kind of did whatever they wanted to do offensively against the Grizzlies. Because the Grizzlies actually shot the ball well, but they just had no chance. They could never stop Miami, and it got ugly in that third quarter when Miami put up 42 points, and then the Grizzlies, came back a little bit in the fourth quarter when nobody was really playing. None of the starters played, but and they put up 42 in the fourth. But yeah, it really wasn't even as close as the final score would indicate at 19. But the one thing that I don't quite understand from that game, and it's kind of been since they got it, I don't understand. Luke Kennard is not being used. You went and got him to provide shooting. And while he ends up last night with 4 threes in the game, it was all in the fourth quarter when the game was out of reach, and he played the entire fourth quarter. In the first 3 quarters, I think he got 1 shot, maybe 2. If you're going to have the guy, get him on. Why? John Konchar's coming off the bench before Luke Kennard, and I just don't get that. I love John Konchar. He's a great guy. Luke Kennard needs to be on the floor to provide the shooting. And right now he's just not getting minutes. And not only does he need minutes, but he needs minutes, and then you need to try and run some plays and try and get him some shots. I don't quite understand what is going on right now with the lack of Luke Kennard minutes.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you 100%. When the backups came in the fourth quarter, I kind of figured who would be out there. But to see Luke Kennard in that group when they went out and made that acquisition to bring in 3-point shooting, which is something they need, and you're only playing him in those situations or playing him, limited minutes compared to some of the other guys, I question that as well. He hits 4 of 6 threes. He goes for 14 points. He's not the greatest in creating his own shot, but you design plays for him. He's a dead-eye 3-point shooter. The only saving grace last night, as you mentioned, as they waved the white flag in the fourth quarter, was to see Zaire go out and play pretty well. Again, albeit the game was over. But Zaire scored 12. He had a dunk. He hit a 3. It was just a bad night all around, but I'm trying to look at a silver lining from that game, and it was nice to see Zaire step up and feel good about himself. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 25 points and 9 rebounds. But, again, all in all, not a good game. Grizzlies will now head to San Antonio to play the Spurs on Friday. They're back home to play the Warriors again on Saturday. And then Monday they play Dallas once again. Speaking of the Warriors in Dallas, the Warriors losing at the Clippers, as they usually do. They lose on the road, 134-126, despite 50 from Steph Curry.
Yeah, he was, 22 of 28 from the field, or 20 of 28 from the field. 8 of 14 from 3-point range, but it just doesn't matter. They just don't win on the road. I don't care what happens. It seems like they will just find a way to lose every road game they play. Just about.
I needed 30 from Curry last night to complete a parlay. He goes for 50. He is so unbelievable. I don't know. That guy. It's funny. It's like when they bring up the great players. Obviously, he's listed. But when they bring up like the top 4, top 5, top 6 guys, he's like never even considered. I mean, I don't know how you don't give him at least a little bit of a sniff, because all he does is score on anybody. Anybody you throw out at him, throw double teams at him, he scores on them. But it is incredible how bad they are away from home. In the meantime, I was reading the story about Andrew Wiggins that I didn't realize, and we don't know specifically what's going on in his life, but I thought he was just injured. I mean, it's personal reasons why he's been out as long as he has and may not even return. So that's a key player for Golden State. So Golden State's an interesting team. Still, when they get to the postseason, they rev it up. They're great at home, but on the road they stink. And then there's Dallas, still playing without Luka and Kyrie. What's wrong with Kyrie now? I mean, Dallas beat San Antonio. It took overtime to do so, 137-128.
Yeah, I don't know how serious that foot situation is with Kyrie.
Is that what it is, a foot? Okay.
Yes. And obviously Luka with the thigh, it's just a matter of when the pain is tolerable enough, I guess, for him to play, because the MRI didn't show anything. So they're just, I think both of them is kind of a waiting game just to when they're able to go.
See, the reason I brought up Kyrie is because when Luka was first diagnosed, they said the MRI came back clean and it was just a pain threshold. Can he play with the pain? And that may have been the Grizzlies game. I'm trying to remember that first Grizzlies meeting. I think it may have been. And then you saw Kyrie could miss the game, personal reasons. I remember it said personal reasons, and then they said the foot. But personal reasons, I absolutely remember seeing that. So I don't know if there was two things going on, but then he's missed the rest of these games since then. I'm going to assume that it is the injury, but I remember seeing personal, and I go, already? Already he's missing games? So that has not worked out well. I mean, it's almost like the Grizzlies have been able to weather the storm, and we're going to get to the Ja storm here in a second, and watch teams self-implode. The offseason trade by Minnesota to get Rudy Gobert has not worked out. New Orleans and Zion Williamson and his continual injuries has not worked out. So far, Kyrie in Dallas has not worked out. KD seemed like it's going to work out. Seems like it still could work out, but he goes down and he gets injured. Again, it's like falling into place that, well, Ja will be back sooner than later, and then Adams hopefully will be back and ready to go and 100% for the postseason. Then maybe it's still the Grizzlies' time. Just things around them are happening. And these are things when you make predictions you can't account for because you don't know what's going to happen on any given day. But the big story in the NBA yesterday was off the court, and that was concerning Ja Morant. We were questioning yesterday on the show with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal about what's going on with this investigation. Why is it taking so long? And lo and behold, yesterday the news comes down, of course, Woj breaking the news, that Ja had met with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver in New York yesterday, and subsequently the news came down on the suspension. So Morant had left the counseling program in Florida. We don't know exactly how long he was there. They announced that he gets an 8-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the league, but it's retroactive. So he's already missed, 7 or 6? 6. So he is eligible to come back on Monday. The word is that he won't be ready to go, and he's even said that with his interview with Jalen Rose, by Monday, because that's just the first game he's eligible to come back. Doesn't mean he's coming back. But now we know more about the situation, although there's still a million questions after that interview and his answers when he was asked those questions by Jalen Rose. So your thoughts, first of all, on 8 games, that news, and then, of course, we'll dive into the interview.
I mean, 8 games seems pretty harsh, but I know Adam Silver and the league they want to make sure they set an example when it comes to guns. They're just not going to be tolerable, and even though they, according to their findings, it was not his gun. He did not bring it to the club. He did not have it in any team facilities, and he only held it for a brief moment. When you hear all that, you're like, well, then heck, if he All it was is like he holds it up for this brief moment in the club, and he has nothing else to do with the gun, basically. 8 games seems pretty harsh, but I get it. They, as far as the image of the league and the image of their players and superstar players, they just have no tolerance for guns. And so not a real surprise that they would come pretty harsh with the penalty for Ja in that case.
The first thing when I saw the gun and him flashing the gun, it never occurred to me that it was his gun. I never thought for a second it was his gun. What I figured was somebody in the club had a gun, and he borrowed it, let's just say, to show off on this Instagram post, this Instagram live post. We still don't know. Now, here's the quote from Ja. The gun wasn't mine. It's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence, but I take full responsibility for my actions I made. I made a bad mistake. But there were other incidences that have occurred where, according to the stories, the reports, and I don't know if it was confirmed, but he did condone violence, right? He was called to go. Now he's there supposedly to protect his mom at the mall with the security guard. There was the incident, again, alleged incident with the kid. I mean, that's violent. It's not a gun, but it's violent. But I don't know. I've been asked already a million times by friends, do you think this is sincere? I want to believe it is. I mean, I've always thought he's different and not this guy he's trying to pretend to be on videotape. I don't know if he really is that guy or not. I believe him that the gun wasn't his, but whose gun was it? And how can they not find out? And couldn't they find out if he actually owns a gun through, or are those laws protected? I don't know. So they did all this investigation, and they really didn't come up with any answers. The fact that the Grizzlies had already basically sent him away, and then he goes to this counseling program in Florida, they were getting ahead of the curve. I don't know how much consultation there was between them and with the with the NBA about what they were going to do with him. 8 games, like you said, seems harsh, but they've already got 6 games already in the bag. So obviously it's retro. So I don't know if they said to the it's early. NBA and to Adam Silver and to his people that this is what we're going to do to him. We're going to sit him down until you guys finish your investigation. But some of the things he said to Jalen Rose, it still puzzles me. He said, honestly, I feel like we put ourselves in that situation with our past mistakes. And now it's only right that we focus in and lock in on being smarter and more responsible, holding each other accountable for everything. Talking about his inner circle. I feel like in the past, we didn't know what was at stake. And now finally, me having that time to realize everything, have that time alone, I realize that now. It took him until this time away by himself to realize that it's really on him. But he speaks of a group, and it's not just family, I don't believe. And therein lies the problem.
Well, I think a lot of it is, I think the majority of that is family, and I think there are other guys, but I think he kind of considers some of those other people who aren't technically family. I think he considers them family.
Mm-hmm. But even family, think about yourself. Don't worry about family. Worry about yourself. I realize what I have to lose, and for us as a group, what we have to lose.
But it is because they as a group, because he is the guy providing it all. Like he is now that guy, and he is very tight. That is a very tight-knit family, and that it's great. It's awesome. They are tight-knit, but they have been part of the issue at times. So it is, and I don't think they really understood exactly what there is to lose. I don't know that it really set in like that they could lose it. I think at times he and they have almost thought like it's no, at this point you're invincible. Like there's not going to do anything.
Yes.
So I think it's like, I think it has set in that, oh, we could lose this stuff. Like this, it could be taken away. And again, he may lose $40 million right now. Like it's just on his contract extension. He may not get that. So I don't think he understood, or they understood, the stratosphere that he has gotten into. When you have your own shoe, you are in a realm that is a very select few people in the NBA. And it is a different level of everything. And I don't know that they truly understood like just how big of a deal it is, and the fact that it could be taken away from you if you keep screwing up.
Well, it's hard to believe that his parents don't understand that. They are his parents. And whether it be the parents or the friends or whoever is in that inner circle, they have perpetuated situations that have put him in an awkward position and have put him in a situation where he becomes the bad guy. And around the league and the fans of Ja, who have become many, look now at him. I'm not saying all of them, but they look at him as, what is this guy? Who is this dude at the strip clubs with the guns in his hand? He's supposed to be a role model. And he talked about that. And he says, I am a role model. And I have a lot of youngsters that look up to me. And that's why I've always said, look at John after the game, going over to somebody, giving him his shoes, signing autographs, taking selfies with every single person that wants one. I mean, he just seems like a really cool dude. And I've said on the show many times, I go, look, I know T is living his life vicariously through his son. He's enjoying life. There's nothing wrong with that. Have fun courtside. That's pretty cool. But then when you start getting into fights and start getting in between, I mean, you're perpetuating the situation. You are the instigator in that situation. But again, friends that I don't know of, the guy with the so-called gun or laser or whatever, that whole Indiana situation, again, that was not a family member. I don't believe. It may have been a cousin. I'm not sure. But they are not thinking in the best interest of that young man. And now, he, as Josh said, I've been able to clear my head. That's the first time he said me as opposed to the group. But he used the group or us in every other sentence that he uttered out with Jalen Rose. But I think he's realized that, yeah, I mean, they got to be, if they're going to be on my team, which they are, and I love them, they have to look out for my best interests. Now, a lot of it still falls on him. It's still his decision on the road. They're not, the family and the friends aren't with him on the road when he decides that he wants to go out, which he can do.
But yeah, they are most of the time.
T was in the strip club with him?
I don't know if he was in the club with him at that time, but I'm
not talking about in the game. I'm talking about when he goes out.
When he goes out. Like, Devontae Pack was in there. He was part of the video.
Really?
Like,
okay.
Yes, he goes to all the road games. Like, and these guys, they travel with him. Like, I mean.
See, that's not good. That's not good. I mean, that's something that you may have to curtail. Because I'm not going to speak for these Pack and these guys. I don't know them. But we know the history of the superstars with the inner circle and the hangers-on who are there when you get, now, it seems like these are legitimate dudes that were there when he didn't have anything. And they're here now when he has, the world's an oyster to him, right? But I think that they have to understand, and you just said it a moment ago, the situation that he is in. It is a lot different than rookie in the NBA, even though he made good money as a rookie, as the number 2 overall pick. This is now another level. He came in as a rookie with a lot of potential. He is now superstar. He is so much on the superstar ladder that he is in position to possibly become one of, or if not the face of the NBA. And now you wonder how much that has hurt him.
Yeah, again, there were a couple of other comments that he made that we'll get into coming up. On that, it's one of them in particular that I didn't really like as far as that goes. But we got some text messages that we will get to as well when we come back. 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. That is the phone number for the Sports 56 listener line.
Let the madness begin. Take your first shot at college hoops with FanDuel Sportsbook. Get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets, up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 on the bracket. You'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you could spend betting everything from the money line to point spreads. How about those big upsets? Do you like a 12 over a 5? How about a 13 over a 4? All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. There's no better place to bet the tournament than on FanDuel Sportsbook. Sign up today by going to FanDuel.com/Gasman and make every moment more with FanDuel all tournament long. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only, $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tiger fans, join us at the El Marone Fieldhouse when the Memphis women's basketball team takes on Jackson State this Thursday, March 16th at 7 o'clock in the first round of the WNIT. Come cheer on the Tigers Thursday at 7 against Jackson State as they start their postseason run. Get your tickets now at GoTigersGo.com and Go Tigers Go.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off-market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at MyersCRE.com. That's MYERSCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman, 901-761-5595.
The experienced technicians at Conway Services are ready to solve all of your drain problems. For a limited time, take advantage of our 83 or It's Free drain clearing special. Feel secure knowing the trusted professionals at Conway Services guarantee that if we can't clear it, you don't pay for it. Call now or visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Got chronic joint pain but want to avoid steroids and surgery? Take some advice from pro football legend Emmitt Smith. Call QC Kinetics.
Let QC Kinetics help you improve your quality of life with biologic therapies that get your body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
These exciting new regenerative treatments from local medical professionals can help your body heal itself with lasting pain relief.
Trust me, you want to avoid surgery if you can. Check out these biologic treatments to see what your options are.
QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime, no surgery, no drugs.
I'm talking about joint pain we all can relate to in your knees, your shoulders, your hips, and your lower back. They'll get you feeling good again.
Get relief now.
What are you waiting on? Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
With winter arriving, we start to think about spirit, and I've got the spirit I think about. It's from Old Dominick. You know Old Dominick? That is our hometown distillery, right in the heart of downtown. Old Dominick, by the way, gives full distillery tours with curated tastings. There's craft cocktails. It is really a neat place to go. So when you're looking for something to do downtown, something a little different, I suggest you go see my friends at Old Dominick. The other aspect about Old Dominick is the product itself. What a great spirit that they have just finally released. So they have this master distiller. Her name is Alex Castle. She won't let anything be released until it's perfect. We've been waiting a long time for two whiskeys. One's a sipping, the other is bottle in bond. They are incredible. It took a long time, but Old Dominick has finally released those two whiskeys. You will love the spirit at Old Dominick.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, we're working a couple of accidents. Thomas at Stage. That's Thomas at Stage. And then by the airport, Democrat at Rental Road. Accident there. That's Democrat at Rental Road. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It was a beautiful day.
Welcome back. Just scratching the surface. Lots to get to here on the program. Sean Coleman will join us at 8:05. Scott Spinelli will join us at 9:05. Before we get back to Ja, this is funny. As we mentioned, West Virginia and Maryland will be the first game on tap for the tournament starting today. They're playing down in Birmingham. Bob Huggins, friend of the show, coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers, he was asked about trailer life. What are some of the values that you learned, around sharing and things like that growing up in such close quarters? Lived in a trailer when Huggins was a kid, at least for some time. I don't know how long. Coach Huggins' response: don't be the last one in the tub. It's rough. Last one in the tub is rough. You are in a trailer. You kind of share the same water. So good advice. Or get a new tub. Get a hot tub from Family Leisure. There you go. That's how you connect Bob Huggins' quotes with our sponsor here of our studio.
So one of the things that happened that came out of the interview with Ja that did with Jalen Rose is Jalen asked him about the other incidents, the incident with the security guard at Wolf Chase, the incident at a volleyball game with his sister, the Indiana Pacers thing. And Ja's response, the majority of the things that's happened in the past, obviously I've kind of put myself into by even being there. But all the incidents you've seen recently, most of them is a lie. I can't speak too much on those situations because all of them are sealed. I really can't wait to be able to finally tell the truth. But what I can say is, like I said before, none of those are my character. I'm a big family guy. I always take care of my family. So it was just me checking on my family's safety. Once my family is safe, I left the scene. Okay, that might be true. Like maybe he just showed up at the mall and he didn't do anything. He found out his mom was safe and he got out of there. But I find it weird that the security guard just makes this up about Ja Morant, because generally, I think people here probably are going to support Ja Morant. Like you're probably not going to lie to make him look worse. The situation at the volleyball game, I don't know what happened, but there's been rumors about him going in and doing whatever to a kid or whoever. There seems to be a lot of smoke there for it to just all be complete lies. And it goes back to the Chris Beard thing. Why, at this point, you don't need to be saying all this other stuff. That's just lies. Just accept responsibility. Say, just look, stop. I put myself into it by even being there. That's simple. I shouldn't have. I can't be doing these things. I shouldn't put myself into those situations where bad things can happen. And that's part of what I am trying to learn. Like, I just don't understand why you gotta go, but it's all just a bunch of lies. I can't talk about it, just a bunch of lies. And accept the responsibility for these things. Because again, if it is a lie, you still put yourself into the situation where the people can apparently just make stuff up that you're doing. And it drives me crazy. It's the same thing with Beard. And it was proven all to be false. No, something happened that night. And you put yourself in the situation.
I think Ja is confused when it comes to his family and protecting his family. I don't think for a second that he doesn't care. He loves his family. He cares about their welfare. When he hears that there's an incident involving anybody in his family or his inner circle, he's going to go there. I think he's absolutely telling the truth in that sense. But I think he almost believes that he's coming to the self-defense of these people that everything is on the table. If I sense that my mother had an issue, I'm going to go protect her, and I'm not saying he says this, but I'm going to go and I'm going to threaten the security guard, or I'm going to get involved with the volleyball with my sister, or I'm going to, he's there. He does love and care for his family. I think he's a family man. There's no question in my mind. He seems like he's a very good father, but he doesn't understand reality. And I don't see where lies are going to come up. I know there's at least one civil suit against him for an incident. I know these things. And I think he's a little confused on how far you can go to be there for your family. And he's overstepped his boundaries, I think, numerous times, according to these stories. Now, like you said, just coming out and saying you're going to find out, who knows if we'll ever find out, that these are basically bold-faced lies. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I'm with you. I'm not sure he's going to come out clean and say, yes, I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have got myself into this situation. I think anytime his family is in a quandary, he's going to be there for his family, which is something, to applaud, to be there for your family. But you have to understand who the hell you are, what you represent.
Again, that's, as I said, when the first thing came out about the wolf chase, whatever, like, you don't go if you're Ja. Like, you can send people. You've got whatever. You're Ja. You can't be the one that goes. It's bottom line. Like, and if if you really thought there was some dangerous situation, again, they are an extremely tight family, and I certainly respect the heck out of it. It's awesome the way but he just is in a different world now, and you can't be the one to go do the dirty work at this point. Like, it's changed. There's a different responsibility there. And so you can't do it. And again, this setting to me just was not the time to go, oh, all this other stuff lies. Like, if you're trying to prove that you're changing or you are changed and you've done this counseling and everything else, I don't see why you come out and go, yeah, but all this other stuff just lies. This stuff, I mean, we have video of the strip club thing, so everybody knows that. But like the other stuff, nah, just lies, just a bunch of lies. That doesn't sound like a guy who has changed and understands the responsibility that he has and is taking responsibility for his mistakes.
Well, and also the organization didn't do anything when it came to all these other incidents. Now, I don't know if they investigated them or just swept them under the rug, but the only time they took action was finally when this came to a head. Now we get to the gun, and the gun supersedes everything else, but there was the alleged fight with the kid. There was the alleged threat of the security guard. There are other incidents that only in time did we find out when they became somebody eventually broke the story, but the organization knew it forever. He knew it forever. He never said anything about those, but now it finally comes to a head with the NBA. Obviously, you put your livelihood in peril. You're going to lose possibly $40 million for not being on any of the All-NBA teams. So now all of a sudden, as push comes to shove, you have to do something about it. This is another thing he said during the interview with Jalen Rose. Morant described his decision to conduct an Instagram live session while partying at Shotgun Willie's strip club in Glendale, Colorado, as pretty much just trying to be free. Okay, I understand blowing off steam and all that, but there's hundreds of thousands of people who are going to watch that. So it's not like you're alone blowing off steam. You're blowing off steam in front of the world. He said, I use that as an escape, which I shouldn't have. I feel like that's the reason I made many bad decisions in my past. It seems like he acts before he thinks, which doesn't pretty much describe me. But we can only describe what we see or what we know of you. It doesn't describe Ja as a person. Now he's talking in third person here. I'm a totally different person than what's been shown in the media. Okay? So it's the media's fault? That's my job now. That's why I took that time away, to become a better Ja, so everybody really can see who Ja really is and you know what he's about. I don't know. I want to buy all of it. I can't, though. I can't buy all of it. Greg is dialed in at 360-8255. Let's get your thoughts, folks, on the Sports 56 listener lines. Greg, how are you?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Fascinating discussion. And as a diehard Grizzlies fan, I hope this was a major learning experience that Ja needed. I hate that it had to get to this point, but it seems like him and his his crew are always getting in these situations. Do it somewhat high profile like LeBron did. You know, nobody had more spotlight scrutiny coming up as a 15-year-old than he did. And, you know, when he goes out, he has a security team, because it seems like a lot of his family members or whoever, the guys he surrounds himself with getting into issues. I think maybe you need to have a security team to deal with these matters, because if something goes down, he's being the high-profile person.
Mm-hmm.
He's always going to get the brunt end of the stick. Nobody's going to be worried about, you know, his crew, because they're not in the spotlight and shine and an NBA global superstar. So I think that needs to be handled. As far as the interview goes with Jalen Rose, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if it's PR team, did it really mean it? The only way we can judge John at this point going forward is the way he has his actions. So I'm hoping if this doesn't wake him up, I don't think anything will, because you got so much at stake. You got all these endorsements, and now, any other situation going forward, you can lose it all. So I hope this is what he needed, and hopefully he gets in track from his counseling session there. And I hope the Grizzlies team as a whole learned from this, and really these guys need to buckle down, because it's been too much chaos and nonsense for them being a great basketball team. And unfortunately, that gets sidestepped a lot nationally because of all the other stuff. So I hope when he comes back here, he's good to go. He's refocused, a better teammate, a better leader. And we're good enough to win a title, guys. But unfortunately, with all these stuff that surrounds this stuff, it can really blow up in the Grizzlies' faces. And they've worked too hard for so long to get to this point where we got an all ascending talent like Ja. And I hope he finally gets his act together. And T. Morant especially, you want to be up in the suite, that's fine at FedEx, but just don't be the show. Ja is the guy. You're a great dad, but let's just remember, you're his parent. You're not the show. So I'm hoping,
Absolutely.
guys. What do you think now going forward? You got about 13 games left. Sacramento refuses to lose. Ja's going to come back at some point. Are we good enough to win a title? And finally, I'm a UT alum. My Bulls, what's the ceiling? I don't see them going past the Sweet 16. Thanks for the time, guys. Great nuanced discussion about Ja.
Thank you, Greg. Good stuff. Well, on the Grizzlies, I don't think they're going to fall any farther than third. I thought maybe last week fourth was a possibility, then the Durant injury. And I think the Grizzlies will at least weather the storm where they'll finish second or third. And assuming Adams comes back and he's healthy and ready to go, and Ja comes back, refocused, no issues, I think they can make a run. They certainly are a talented team. Now, a healthy Durant in Phoenix, Denver, I think these teams are better. I'm not saying that the Grizzlies can't win those games, but hopefully, look, we're all hoping that Ja comes out of this for the better, the team doesn't drop off, and they even maybe get better because they're maybe even closer after especially what Steven Adams had to say in that players-only meeting. I think there's a good chance that they can continue where they started, pre-All-Star break, making that great run, second place in the West, and could make a lot of noise in the postseason.
They are good enough to win a title, yes. I believe this team healthy, and obviously Brandon Clark is not going to be healthy, but if everybody else healthy, this team is good enough. They're one of the teams that is good enough to win a title. Certainly good enough to win the Western Conference. But there's a lot of other good teams as well, and it'll depend on some matchups and series. And a lot of stuff can happen. But I do believe they are good enough, and yeah, he is correct. All we can judge Ja on now is when he comes back, his actions, and everything else. And hopefully, yes, hopefully he has learned. Hopefully he's going to be great the rest of the way, and no more issues ever come up. That's the absolute hope. And hopefully this. Instead of when this happened, this could be the fact that nobody got hurt, nothing too bad happened. If that's what it, this was the wake up call, and he is a changed person. If all it was one Instagram live video in a strip club that got him to that point, that's great, rather than something that could have happened much more serious when you're talking about guns.
Yeah, and as far as Tennessee is concerned, we'll make our consensus picks. We're going to run down the South and the East today as far as the regions, and then pick our actual champion as the tournament will start later on this morning. I can tell you personally, in my bracket, I have Tennessee struggling with Louisiana but winning, and then losing to Duke.
I have them losing to Duke as well.
All right.
We'll get to some of those text messages when we come back.
All right, we got calls to get to as well. We'll do that on the other side. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold P7866988, MSRP 22,945. K5 PG200 MSRP 26,455. Sportage PG 107,225, MSRP 29,790. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance 200. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to give Memphis your best deals at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
That's what I always do, Randy. How about a 2023 Kia Soul LX, only $333 a month and $27.99 due at signing. Looking for luxury? 2023 Kia K5 LXS, $362 a month or $31.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Or how about the 2023 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive?
We got it at $381 per month, 36-month lease, and $34.99 due at signing.
And don't forget Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And Jeff, what if I don't see exactly what I want?
I'll order it for you, Randy, so whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
BNL, BNL, BNL. Hey, Bob, why is everyone chanting BNL?
Well, Mike, that's because BNL is the home team of heating and air companies in the Mid-South. Yeah, BNL is a premier heating and air company. They're family-owned and operated, so you know you're going to get treated like family when you need their help.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Oh, and one of the really neat things about BNL Heating and Air is that they can do everything the big guys can do, but with small-town prices and old-fashioned friendly service.
Wow, that's great. You know, I've been meaning to call someone to come check my system out before summer gets here.
Well, you can turn to the team at BNL Heating and Air and know that you're going to get fast and friendly service. But you need to call as soon as you can because I hear they have some specials on spring system tune-ups and specials on new system installations as well.
Okay, Bob. I'm going to give them a call before the game starts. Let me look them up on my phone. Here we go. BLHeatingAir.com. Phone is 662-342-4433.
Beloved former basketball coach and educator Satch Sullinger knows you got to keep moving to stay healthy. But that's not so easy when your aching joints won't cooperate.
We still want to move and we still want to get around and we still want to be active, but we start to deteriorate the moment we quit moving.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments help restore movement in stiff, aching knees, hips, shoulders, and back, using only your natural healing properties to help restore damaged joints. That's a huge positive for Satch.
It's working, and what I really like about it is there's nothing foreign put in my body. Everything that was put in my body has been taken from my body. I love it. I love it. Like I said, I want to live until the day I die.
Get rid of the pain and start moving again. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event is on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Come test drive the all-new 2023 Outlander plug-in hybrid electric with 420 total range, 64 combined MPG, and 38 minutes best charging time. And you may be eligible for up to $7,500 federal EV incentive and $1,500 lease cash. Come check it out at Gossett Mitsubishi. Plus 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander with 3 rows of seating for up to 7 people. We Gossett at $499 a month or buy for $34,055. Looking for some peace of mind in your new ride? How about Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty? 2023 Outlander, $499 a month, or get 1.9 for 36 months, and test drive the all-new 2023 Outlander plug-in hybrid electric. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Outlander PZO 12158, MSRP 34555, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Big Green Egg, best grill you'll ever buy, and the last grill you'll ever need to buy. You can find them at East Memphis Ace Hardware, Cordova Ace Hardware, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton Fireplace. Those ceramic grills, they're absolutely fantastic. Anything you want to do on there, from smoking to grilling to baking, whatever it is, they got it they can do it, and it is amazing. Plus all the egg accessories as well, and you can find those at those locations. You can also go to biggreenegg.com. Some text messages here on the Sports 56 listener line. Texter says Grind City hopes Ja finally gets it and can clean it up. Yeah, that certainly is the hope. Another texter says Ja and his people got the memo and will be better off and better NBA player. David says maybe it was an intentional call out on the national stage for them, talking about, I guess, his family and his inner circle. Another texter says Grizzlies teammates will tighten up the circle around Ja Morant so he doesn't end up in another situation like this one.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they can do all they want. If he doesn't want to, they can't lock him in his room. Like if he doesn't want to change, then he's not going to.
Well, he's now put himself and his reputation on the line. If he goes out and does something else, that means he was talking out of his you-know-what, and he was lying to everybody in this interview. So if he goes out and continues to do what he's doing, he now has his whole reputation and maybe even the legacy and his future earnings and all that stuff on the line now if he goes out and does that stuff again when he says, that's not me, that's not Ja.
Raider Corey says Ja has apologized. He seems like he has been humbled, although I wish he took more ownership for his actions. But I think this whole ordeal has been a wake-up call for him, and I honestly believe this will make him a better person, family man, and teammate. His first home game back, he will receive a nice applause and standing ovation. Oh, there's no doubt about that. As far as that goes, he will get a warm welcome. Another text for the Grizz Nation is with Ja, but you got to act like a grown-up. Yeah, again, in some ways, it's a little unfair to ask, somebody this young that's also to handle all this money to be like on their best behavior all the time. But that's just part of the deal. Like it's the responsibility that comes with the reason you got all of this money all of a sudden.
You have to be a bad person or somebody that just absolutely hates the NBA to root against this guy. I'm generalizing here, but I think everybody, especially in this area of the country, is rooting for Ja Morant. We all have his back, so to speak, and are rooting for him to have a triumphant return, to clean up those issues in his personal life and move forward. And I think he will.
Max says Ja was prepped and insincere in that interview. I agree with Wilbon when he says walk about it, don't talk about it.
Well, that's true.
There's no
that's
doubt.
True.
His actions will speak a lot louder than his words. He said, do we really believe his mother was in trouble at the mall? Do we believe his sister was in distress at Houston High? I call BS. I don't know whether they were. Ja believed apparently they were in trouble. And so he went to go figure out what was wrong and make sure that there was no trouble. Again, it's to me, that's stupid on his part, but that's again part of the family dynamic, and he felt the need to go make sure they were okay.
I mean, what do they do? Did they flash, like, instead of the Batman signal, they flash the Ja signal and he just shows up at any place as, the hero? You shouldn't put him in that situation. I mean, you can't iron it out yourselves. I mean, we're not talking about life or death, are we? They got to call the guy every time?
Another texter says Ja's father is the problem. He thinks he's the player. He wants the spotlight.
He's definitely living vicariously through him. No question.
Reggie says when family is in quandary, it's called call the police. He can't take the law into his own hands.
Take him to court. People's court.
Matt says, I feel like he has a different perception of himself than what is actual reality. This is a pattern of behavior, and he admits that, but still says it's not him.
Yes, and that's where I question the sincerity of I'm sure at times during that interview, when we all listened to it, that it was sincere. I think at other times he was fooling himself.
So he says Taylor Jenkins has to get through to Morant. He's going to be a better leader on and off the court. Paul says, I don't like that Ja's already reactivated his Twitter and Instagram accounts. He needs to have someone handle his social media things. Certainly, if he wants to try and go on Instagram Live from a strip club, somebody needs to smack him upside the head and take his phone from him. That's for sure. Another text says, superstars like Ja are more concerned about basketball instead of going out all the time. How bad does he wake to be an all-time I think it's supposed to be want to be an all-time great is the question.
Shoot, now we'll go to cities that the plane will be landing and there'll be billboards out there for strip clubs, knowing that, hey, here come the NBA players. They probably already have that, but with Ja, they're probably like entice the guy to want to come out to their club and spend the kind of money that he did.
They don't need to.
They probably don't.
That's proof.
It's tongue in cheek. I'm not being serious here, but the point is that there will be temptations along the way because he's still a young man that's trying to enjoy life, enjoy his money. But there's other ways to enjoy it, and again, I've never said that the issue was going to the strip club. That wasn't the issue. The issue was everything else once he got there, including eating that $9.99 buffet. He had the trots for the next week.
The issue is going live, and the issue is the gun.
I know. Exactly. Again, there have been a number of these incidents allegedly he's been involved in. It's been swept under the rug. This one, no sweeping. Can't call cleaner for that one. All right, when we come back, hour 2, we will continue to talk Grizzlies and Ja, but more about the Grizzlies on the court moving forward. Now tied with Sacramento. The Kings get the edge because of the tiebreak, and right now the Grizz technically in third, but still have an opportunity to finish strong, finish second, and still have a great postseason run. They get everybody back and healthy and all dialed in. We'll talk to Sean Coleman about that at 8:05. Then we'll make our predictions for both the South Regional and the East Regional, and we'll come to a conclusion who will win the national championship as the NCAA tournament is underway this morning. Of course, the first 4 already played and done in Dayton. First game today on tap happens to be my alma mater, Maryland and West Virginia in Birmingham, Alabama. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the new 2023 Aerojet Woods and Irons from Cobra Golf. The new Aerojet Woods are designed with a unique aerodynamic shape that delivers faster clubhead speeds for longer drives. And the new Aerojet Irons are made with hot face technology, so every strike delivers more distance. Elevate your game by swinging into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit on the new Cobra Woods and Irons today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on eating out, fuel costs, and replacing expensive grills that cannot stand up to the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on eating out, fuel costs, and replacing expensive grills that cannot stand up to the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
I don't want to go to bed at night dreading waking up in the morning knowing that I'm going to feel like a rusty lawn chair getting out of bed and getting opened up and not being able to really move for a couple hours really throughout the day.
For former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter and those dealing with daily aches and pains, QC Kinetics regenerative pain treatments are a game changer, providing long-lasting relief.
Go into a specific joint, a specific region, and then help promote that healing process using your own body's mechanisms to heal. I mean, that's been something that's pretty powerful, and there's no surgery, there's no downtime.
QC Kinetics natural treatments help the body heal and restore itself. No more rusty lawn chair.
It's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
Pain relief the natural way. QC Kinetics. Call today for your complimentary consultation. Find out if you're a good candidate for treatment.
Call QC Kinetics 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it. They're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their pre-season patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Sports 56 traffic.
We still working an accident on Thomas and Stage. That's Thomas at Stage. Overturned vehicle to be exact. So that is the only accident on the roadways this morning. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
51 degrees. It will get to about 65, 66 today, so much warmer than it has been. However, the rains are coming. Looks like tonight around dinner time it may start. We're going to get pretty much a cloudy day, but the sun will probably peek out at times, so a little bit of everything. And then with the rain, tomorrow comes colder temperatures. So here we go again, yo-yoing with the temperatures, and therefore that's why everybody seems to be sick out there. James Gaddis Jewelers, second hour sponsor, Sports 56 Mornings, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They are your family's jeweler. They are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. So many folks I know, including Eli, purchasing, whether they be wedding rings, that beautiful engagement ring from James Gaddis Jewelers. They know it's not the easiest decision for men out there to pick out that right rock, but they have the pros that can help you. They also have a price point to suit everyone's budget, so diamonds of all types, from a few thousand to tens of thousands, whichever direction you want to go in, they make sure they have something for you. Variety certainly at James Gaddis Jewelers, and it's more than just the diamonds. You're looking for a special watch, whether it be a Rolex watch or any type of watches, they have them for you. They have bracelets and necklaces and earrings and fine gemstones of all types and estate and vintage jewelry. And they have the experts to help you with whatever jewelry it is that you're looking at. They also have 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. So you need a simple cleaning, a resetting, anything that's wrong with your jewelry, you bring it back to James Gaddis Jewelers. If you purchase it there, they're going to take care of that jewelry for the lifetime of the jewelry. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. Stop by. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. All right, let's continue to talk Grizzlies. We bring in a special guest. This guy provides so many great statistics online. He's a follow you need to obviously follow with his intellect and his work in putting together these numbers for you. You can follow him at Twitter at Stats, S-A-C. He's Sean Coleman, writer, podcaster for Bluff City Media. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Sean, thank you for joining us. I know you've been a little bit under the weather, so I appreciate it.
Hey, and Greg, it's always a pleasure to join you and Eli. You're very kind. Thank you for the kind words. I hope both of y'all are good health-wise, Zach as well, but trying to get back there. It's a pleasure to be with y'all as always.
Yeah, happy to have you. You amaze me with the numbers. I mean, boom, the game happens, and all of a sudden you have, and it's not just the typical numbers that people can figure out in a few seconds. You're going and you're diving deep into this and coming up with some amazing stats. Anything that jumps out at you with this team to this point of the season that may amaze a few people?
Yeah, the thing is so, comparing us to last year, last night we lost our 27th game of the season. So we're not going to be as good as we were last year, and that's fine. But this team, what really stands out is that the defensive capabilities of this team, I feel are championship worthy. I'm not necessarily saying that we should be a top 5 contender in the NBA to win a championship this year, even when we get Ja back, because our offense can be inconsistent at times. But it is the shift in us being from an excited offensive team through the end of last year to now with Jared and Dylan and the rest of the defense. We are very good defensively, and we're finding different ways to do it. Since Ja's been out, since Steven's been out, what have we done to adjust without those two critical pieces, Brandon Clark as well? We're playing defense for a full 48 minutes. What's really helped the Grizzlies since the All-Star break, last night aside, is that they by far have been the best defensive team in first quarters in the NBA. We've done it through turnovers. We've done it through defending the three. This defense has many different ways it can be elite compared to the rest of the league. That versatility, that depth of our defense really stands out as to why we could have a chance, even with offense being where it is this year in the NBA.
The Jaren Jackson Jr. is no longer the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. Brook Lopez is now the betting favorite. Why do you think it has shifted back now? And do you believe Jaren, in the end, will win Defensive Player of the Year?
I do believe that Jaren Jackson Jr. will win Defensive Player of the Year. The reason I feel that's the case is because I think the Grizzlies' defense is going to stay strong enough. And at the end of the day, when you look at the Grizzlies' personnel that they have on defense versus who the Bucks have on defense, Brook Lopez plays with Giannis. And I think Brook Lopez is one of the best defenders in the NBA. But I do think he has more help than Jaren does. That's no slight to Dylan Brooks, but you got Giannis, you got Jrue Holiday. When he plays, I do think the Bucks have stronger defensive personnel. I think that plays into it. And the other thing that stands out to me is that when you look at the reason why I think that it's gone more towards Brook Lopez, total blocks, he doesn't foul as much as Jaren, he plays more minutes. So people are going to try to find ways to be able to make that support Brook Lopez's case. I just don't think that's that strong of a case. Because when you look at the impact metrics of how when Jaren's on the court versus off, how it impacts opposing offenses, the Grizzlies' defense has been the best since Jaren's been back healthy. The fact that he's able to do what he does, even in less minutes. I know people bring up the fouls. Yes, Jared, needs to, calm down the fouls a bit. But if you're trying to come up with indirect ways, like people are coming up with Brook Lopez to support his case versus clear, direct reasons why Jaren should win it, I just don't think the case for Brook Lopez is that strong. So I think in the end, Jaren needs to get the blocks back up a bit. But if the Grizzlies remain atop the NBA in terms of defense or near the top, I think he's got a strong enough case to win.
Inconsistency on offense continues to be the issue. And, of course, with Ja out, it does not help. But also with Steven Adams out, it does not help. We saw Miami last night clog the middle basically as they force the Grizzlies to take three-point shots. And that will seem to be, I think, a trend as we continue until Ja is back, and then Ja drives to the hole with the best of them in the league. But with that said, and needing that consistency with three-point shooting, Eli brought up a good point when we opened the show at 7 o'clock, is why Luke Kennard is not getting the minutes we thought he would get after the acquisition from the Clippers. He is a legitimate three-point shooter, and he's basically in there in mop-up time with the other guys off the bench late in the game yesterday.
Yeah, it is a bit of a frustrating point so far. Since we've acquired Luke Kennard, we've shown a great. I believe last night we made 18 threes, shot 39% from three. If the Grizzlies could sit there and do that, we'd be right up there with the best teams in the NBA. The problem is we've been inconsistent. We'll have 18 threes and shoot 39% from threes, and the next night we'll have 7 and shoot 28%. I absolutely agree. And it's not even about Kennard. He needs to be playing the minutes. Right now, I think he needs to be getting the second highest minutes off the bench after Santi Aldama with who's on our roster. But it's not just about Kennard getting the minutes. It's putting him where he can be able to exceed expectations, to be able to do what he does. He's one of the best corner three-point shooters in the league. So for Taylor Jenkins, we had a half the other day where Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard only had 2 3-point attempts. Some of the threes that the Grizzlies put up, it just seems like that what they initially look as far as an offensive action to work, it doesn't work, so they just shoot a three. There needs to be a more intentful, more determined way to get our best three-point shooters looks. Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard, you need 10 combined threes for them each night. No questions asked. So I agree. Luke Kennard needs to play more minutes, but it's not just about the minutes. It's about getting him more involved in the offense, setting up opportunities to really make sure we're targeting him, especially from the corner from threes, and that I think will help out the consistency.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It's not yet. Play him and get him the ball, get him shots because the guy. Otherwise, he's useless. You acquired him for nothing if you're not using him to actually get up shots. David Roddy had the great game here against Dallas. Another good game against Dallas last night. Again, he shot the ball decently with 2 for 5 for 3-point range. Do you think we're seeing a turning of the corner for Roddy?
Yeah, I definitely do think that there's a turning of the corner for Roddy. I think, on Grizz Twitter, it's been fun. The great guy who covers the Grizzlies, Anthony Sain, I know he's had some fun talking about John Conchar here recently. But I bring that up because, with Roddy, we're seeing the scoring consistency that's there. And right now, I think that that's something that Roddy can be a source for, and that's what the Grizzlies need off their bench. Without Brendan Clark, without Steven Adams, without John Morant, they've got to get points. And I know that players like a John Conchar can add value elsewhere. Conchar should absolutely still be a part of the rotation. But with Roddy, I do think that you can go to him, and between him and Aldama, I think you can rely on them, either one or both of them, to get double-digit points tonight. But Roddy's scoring ability, shooting from three, being able to get to the rim, I think that's what really has opened up his game, is the confidence in being able to get to the rim consistently. And the other thing that stood out to me last night, Roddy shot a three from the top of the key, air ball. He just looked at it and immediately ran back. David Roddy seems to have this very, very awesome detail about him to where he'll make plays or he won't make plays. If he doesn't make a play, he puts it to the side and just keeps going on. He doesn't let what happened. He's able to put it to the side and just keep going forward, and I think that's really helped out his game. So, yes, David Roddy should absolutely be a consistent part of this rotation, and I do think we're seeing him become a more consistent scorer, which this offense needs right now.
Sean Coleman joining us on the program, writer, podcaster for now Bluff City Media, which kind of but Grizzly Bear Blues is now part of the Bluff City Media empire, if you will. You can follow him on Twitter at StatsSAC. So I'll be honest, I didn't watch the fourth quarter. The game was over, but the subs came in, and guys that don't always get minutes, and one being Kenneth Lofton Jr., fan favorite, comes in. I see that he scored 10 points in 12 minutes. What is his future? Does he have a future with the Grizzlies?
I would hope so, and it becomes very unique, right? Because you look at next year. The easy answer to this is simply this: Xavier Tillman next year has I believe a non-guaranteed part of his contract. Last year of his contract, could he potentially be traded? Could he is he going to get that contract, part of his contract guaranteed? Coming into this year, my thought was that Kenneth Lofton would be the next 3 to 4 year contract, front court depth guy, and we may let Xavier Tillman explore other options. Well, now, with as good as Xavier Tillman's playing, with the fact Brandon Clark probably is not going to be able to be relied upon, unfortunately, next year, I think Xavier Tillman is in the equation. Kenneth Lofton could naturally take over as the guy that will be on your roster to back up Adam, Jaron, Santi, and Xavier Tillman next year while Brandon Clark is coming back. But then at that point, do you want six front court players on your roster? I think that his future can be in Memphis. I do think if it's not, his future is definitely going to be on one of those, very cheap, over a few years contracts with some NBA team. I do think that he certainly has an NBA future. I don't think that he cracks the rotation this year, but I do think that if the Grizzlies figure out how to keep him on the roster next year, he will have a spot to continue in mop-up minutes and occasionally if injuries were to occur. I would like for him to maintain a future in Memphis, definitely if they can figure it out. But with Xavier Tillman definitely having a place in here through next year, maybe a bit harder, I think they figure it out. But I think that at the very least, he's an end-of-the-bench option somewhere, and hopefully that's in Memphis next year.
Is Zaire Williams salvageable this season?
That's a very fun question to ask. And the reason why I say that it's fun is because it makes you think. If we are talking about salvageable in terms of him being a reliable, regular part of the rotation, I just don't see it. And I don't mean that anything negative towards Zaire Williams, but I just don't think that there's enough time for him really to be a true part of the rotation. We've got 13 games left, and then from there for him to be able to get playoff minutes. He may get spot minutes if we need defense, but in terms of him just him being able to get back to where he was at some point last year, I don't necessarily think that's the case. I do think what's salvageable is for him to have a good end of the year. Last night, excellent effort. I believe 12 points in the minutes that he played. So great effort from him. If he could just get some games together where when he plays, you clearly see positive aspects going, I think that helps. I don't think that we should write Zaire Williams off. I think he just needs a healthy summer and healthy start to the season, and he'll be back to where he was at times his rookie year. But in terms of him being a regular part of the rotation that can help the Grizzlies win games this year, I don't necessarily know if that's the call.
All right, final thing for you. 14 games still to go, and it's jumbled in the West, so a lot of things could happen. But right now, Sacramento and the Grizzlies tied at 41-27. Sacramento gets the tiebreaker, so technically they're in second. The Grizzlies in third. If the playoffs were to start today, they'd be taking on number 6 Golden State. If they were in second, they'd be playing Minnesota or Dallas, who are right now tied for the 7th, I guess an 8th spot in the play-in right now. I would imagine your preference would be to take on the winner of Minnesota-Dallas as opposed to taking on Golden State.
Absolutely. And I think that Memphis probably matches up better with those two teams, Dallas and Minnesota, and you also have to have them play extra games as well. So, yes, my preference would be to play either one of those teams. I do think that Golden State is more vulnerable this year than they were last year. And you also have the fact that, they're having to play some of their better players more than they did down the stretch last year just to be in a favorable position. So it'd be a great story, for Memphis to be able to play Golden State. And I do think we could beat them in a playoff series. But, yes, due to extra games being played, and also I think just that the Grizzlies match up better with them, my preference is to play Minnesota or Dallas.
He is Sean Coleman, writer, podcaster for Bluff City Media. You can follow him on Twitter at StatsSAC. Thank you, my friend. I know you're playing a little hurt this week. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you so much. Y'all have a great day. Good luck to the Tigers in the tournament.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sean. Good stuff. Always brings good information to the show.
I mentioned, by the way, that Brook Lopez now the betting favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. Joel Embiid now has overtaken Nikola Jokic as the betting favorite for MVP as he continues to put up some massive numbers, and Philadelphia continues to play well, and Denver's hit a little bit of a slide here.
He is so incredible to watch, Embiid. That spin move he made out of the double team yesterday and the flush to finish, he hits three-point shots extremely well. I just love watching Embiid play.
J.B. Bickerstaff was not happy with his 6th foul getting overturned last night, and
I'm sure he wasn't.
And I honestly can't believe they overturned that foul. I don't even now. Philadelphia was up by like 8 at the time, with like 4 minutes ago. So even if he goes out of the game, they're they very well could have gone on to win it. But I can't believe they overturned that foul call last night.
The madness has begun at Dinstall's. Check this out. They have a 16-ounce box of assorted chocolate. You buy one, you get one free. Don't miss this wild and crazy deal while they last during March only at Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. Dinstall's has all your watching favorites, right? The sweet treats you want to enjoy when you're watching the madness. Major League Baseball about to get going here later on this month. Around the corner, the Masters. To just kick back, relax, and enjoy those chocolate-covered strawberries, the cashew crunch, the turtlettes, so much more. It is all delicious at Dinstall's. Tip-off, the exciting weekend of basketball, which, again, starts in just a couple of hours with a stop at Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, Pleasant View, and downtown. Send anybody you want in your family, in your friends, your family, whoever it may be, a treat from Memphis. Send them Dinstall's. They'll ship anywhere in the United States. It is Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. They've been making folks happy for over 120 years, believe it or not. And Becky is the biggest sports fan you'll find and the biggest Tiger and Grizzlies fan. She's, I think, going to be in Columbus to root on the Tigers. She is fantastic. They all are at Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. When we come back, we're going to make our picks for the East Regional, the South Regional, and come to a conclusion on who will be cutting down the nets when it's all said and done in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. We have been helping Memphians with their celebrations for more than 38 years. Whether you're picking up one of our party packs to serve yourself or booking one of our private dining rooms at our Cordova location or our Olive Branch location, Corky's has you covered. We make it easy for you to impress your guests for company parties, sports banquets, or reunions. Corky's has been trusted year after year for all of your party needs. Call today and reserve your private party room before your date is booked.
Flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
You don't think about a lawyer until something goes wrong. When that happens, let attorney Stephen Leffler fight for you and your family. You don't leave the house in the morning expecting an accident, but it happens every day. A car wreck, you slip and fall, or you get accused of a crime and find yourself fighting for your reputation. Stephen Leffler has been fighting for you for over 35 years. Don't do it alone. Let Stephen Leffler fight your battles for you. Call Stephen Leffler, 901-527-8830, or go to LefflerLaw.com. Here to fight for you and your loved ones.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
This March, take your first shot at college hoops with FanDuel Sportsbook and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets. Up to $200 by signing up at FanDuel.com/win. That's right, just bet $20 on the bracket and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting everything from the money line to point spreads to that 5 versus 12 seed matchup you've been eyeing to that special Cinderella story. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. There's no better place to bet the tournament than FanDuel Sportsbook. Sign up today by going to FanDuel.com/win and make every moment more with FanDuel all tournament long. That's FanDuel.com/win all tournament long.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-899-9789.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303.
You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Grizz Nation, don't miss your Grizzlies this Saturday at 7 p.m. as they battle the Golden State Warriors. Presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners. Get hyped, get ready for a fierce showdown, and secure your tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or visiting Grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, no accidents or delays to report. No accidents or delays at the moment. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Hey, Zach, you sure your traffic ticker is turned on?
Yeah.
No accidents or delays? Come on.
At the moment.
There's never a moment where there's not a traffic accident or a delay.
Well,
or
I mean,
a dead car or a car on fire or a car being stolen. There's always something happening.
Considering that it's spring break this week, there's not a whole lot of extra movement, I guess you could say. Because usually around this time we'll hear a lot of accidents. But I think because of spring break, the kids are at home. The parents don't have to make that extra trip to drop their kids off. So.
True, but they have to work, I would think. So there's still, but you're right. I mean, a lot of people work from home still since COVID. So I still don't believe it though. Welcome back to the program, halfway home on this Thursday edition. NCAA tournament getting underway later on this morning, and we have been making predictions, and we'll get to our East and our South brackets, and then we'll come to the conclusion who we think will win here in just a moment. It's a consensus. So Eli and I have a thought. If we agree, that's the team moving on. If not, and we're tied, Mr. Zach Boyd breaks the tie. So, again, Zach's the guy you can blame if it's a bad bracket. And it probably will be. So yesterday, they started the shoot-arounds that they have, the public shoot-arounds. I remember when I traveled with the Tigers with Calipari, they would have the public shoot-around at the arena that they're obligated to do. But the real practice would happen somewhere else. And I was privy to those practices, and it was always intense. But then the shoot-around was always just putting on a show for the fans. In Birmingham, where there's a lot going on, you got Alabama playing, you got Auburn playing. You have Brandon Miller in Alabama, Eli, and yesterday, walking around through the corridors to get to the court or back to the locker room with an armed guard walking with him. And Nate Oates talked about that in his press conference appearance, saying that he has death threats. I just don't get it. I don't get any time there's a death threat for anything, no matter what. But why are you making a death threat at this guy?
Well, I mean, some people will view that he was an accessory to a murder. I mean,
well, unless it's a family member of the damn, of the young lady who died. I mean, I don't even understand that. I mean, still, even if first of all, he was not charged with anything, so he's not an accessory. I don't get it. I mean, they should have done something. We're in agreement about that Alabama should have stepped up. They did not. They certainly swept it under the rug. But am I going to blame Brandon Miller? I'm not going to blame Brandon Miller for his ignorance, incompetence in bringing, again, he didn't know there was a gun there, but now he's playing basketball. He's been cleared of any wrongdoing. So should he be penalized for the rest of his life? It'll always hang with him. But he didn't shoot the woman. He didn't kill that lady, and he's getting death threats. People just throw out death threats So like water. It just drives me crazy. So they have the extra security, and that's what Nate Oates said why they have that. It's going to be a crazy region, pod, whatever you want to call it, in Birmingham. All right, let's get to some picks. If you missed it the last couple of days, we picked the other regions. Again, this is consensus. We came to the consensus that Kansas is winning the West and Xavier is winning the Midwest. Now we go to the East. Purdue and Fairleigh Dickinson. I assume you don't think there's a 16 over a 1.
Fairleigh Dickinson is the shortest team in the country. That is not a good recipe to go against Purdue.
Can they stand on each other's shoulders? Is that permitted in the rules?
Yeah, unless they're like the Bobon in the commercial where they got kids stacked on top of each other. It's going to be very difficult. That's there. Maybe the last team you want to face if you are the shortest team in the country is Purdue, and that's what Fairleigh Dickinson gets.
Yeah, fairly obvious that Fairleigh Dickinson is going to have a tough time with Zach Edey and Purdue.
I think they got one player over 6'7",
yes,
or something like that.
Yes, one guy.
But they were shooting the ball last night, though.
They
can shoot.
That's they're gonna have to. But the problem is, I think Purdue's going to get to shoot till they make it because Edey will get every rebound. And just like they're just gonna it'll just be pretty much we get to shoot till we make it. Then you guys go down and you could try and make a shot too.
Is he going to hold the ball like over his head and they're going to be jumping up trying to get to it and they can't? All right, speaking of shooting, we know Florida Atlantic can shoot. We know they can win. They have 31 wins. The Memphis Tigers and Florida Atlantic. Your pick?
I am going with Memphis. The athleticism of Memphis.
Look, if the Tigers play anywhere close to what they did on Saturday against Tulane and Sunday against Houston, they're winning this game. I don't care that Florida Atlantic's a good shooting team. Memphis, as you said, more athletic. They have 2 stars. I think Memphis wins the game. Duke, Oral Roberts?
Duke.
There are some folks out there. I was reading a lot of picks from people, and not a lot, but there's some that are picking Oral Roberts for the big upset.
They got the man who's done it before and can go out there and have the big night. So it's been proven.
Mr. Oral Roberts himself?
No, Max Asmith.
Oh, okay. Tennessee and Louisiana.
Tennessee.
I got UT as well. Kentucky and Providence could be an interesting game.
Kentucky.
I got Kentucky as well. Will this be the last game for Ed Cooley at Providence? Will he be moving on to Georgetown?
I wouldn't if I was him, but I don't know what the money situation is.
Georgetown, cool little place. DC's got a lot of great restaurants. Providence, though, man, it's a big Italian city with great Italian food. I don't know. Tough call. Kansas State, Montana State.
Kansas State.
Kansas State. Michigan State, USC.
This one's a tough one, but I'm leaning Izzo.
Yeah, this is extremely tough. I would normally lean Izzo, but I'm going to lean Boogie Ellis, Andy Enfield, and USC. So here you go, Zach.
Izzo.
Michigan State over USC. Marquette and Vermont.
Marquette.
Okay. Purdue and Memphis. Here we go. Drum roll, please. Thank you. There we go. It's Zach.
I've got Purdue. I think the size of Edey is going to be a problem. And I think it could be a good game. And certainly Memphis can win, but I think Purdue will win.
I was on with Brett and Bryant yesterday afternoon. They asked me, and I said, listen, I'm going to sound like a homer here. I just think the Tigers have a great chance to pull off the upset. Zach Edey is dominant, but even if he scores 30 points, which he probably will, they have young guards. Memphis has some really good stars that can score the ball, and as long as Davis and Williams are doing their thing, which they've been doing for all season, I think they have a great chance. I'm personally taking Memphis. Zach, it's up to you.
Memphis.
Shocking.
I've seen enough Purdue games the last couple of months. It's like there's nothing special about that team to me.
Well, there's one player that's special.
He's standing 7'4", but
it's the player of the year, the unanimous AP.
I am stunned that game went the way of Memphis, despite my going with Purdue. I would have never seen that coming.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, I do see a great matchup for Memphis where they have a chance. If Memphis had been in Kansas's regional, and let's say they still played Florida Atlantic, right? Florida, they were all in that same region. I would not have picked Memphis over Kansas. I just think they have a really good chance to knock off Purdue. All right, Duke and Tennessee.
Duke.
I got Duke as well. Kentucky and Kansas State.
Kansas State.
I forget who I picked in our office pool, but for this, I'm going with you. I think I picked Kansas State. I'm going with Kansas State as well. Why don't I get this weird feeling that Kansas State, which was a really fun team with their new coach to watch this year, could crap the bed. I certainly hope they don't, but yeah, I got Kansas State as well. All right, Michigan State, Marquette.
Izzo.
I'm going Marquette. I'm going Shaka. Shaka going to shock.
Marquette.
Go with Marquette. All right, so Eli's probably not happy with some of these as you're breaking the tie and not in his favor. Memphis and Duke. Duke. Kansas State, Marquette.
Kansas State.
I got Marquette.
I got Marquette. What's the face, Eli?
Eli's chuckling. Hey, day one, you went against me on every pick. So I know it's a consensus. Okay, it's a consensus. We all have our own individual pools as well.
I mean, to be honest, if both of you guys would agree, like you wouldn't have to use me.
We've agreed on a lot, actually. So Marquette and Duke.
Duke.
Marquette.
Marquette
in the Final
I have
Four.
Marquette losing in the second round, so I'm not going to take anything else. I have Kansas State in the Final Four, so
Eli will not claim. He will have no claim to this consensus pool if that happens. But then again, if it does and goes the other way, yeah, man, we picked it together.
I think this is the only region that we have completely went on opposite sides of everything.
Now, right now we have Kansas, Xavier, Marquette in the Final Four. Let's move on to the South. Alabama will take on Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I assume you got Bama.
Yes.
Maryland and West Virginia.
West Virginia.
And here's where I will prove that I am not a homer. I think the Terps will lose. I will be delighted that they win. And in my office pool, also took West Virginia. Took West Virginia, of course, not with my heart, with my head. And if they lose, if Maryland wins the game, so what? I lose in the bracket and the office pool, but my Terps are still alive. So it works. It's a win-win for me. But I just think there's too much Bobby Huggins. Bobby Huggins, he's been there. He's done that. Kevin Willard's a good coach, but Maryland can't win outside College Park. I'm going to West Virginia to win that one.
Reverse psychology.
Yes, why not? Why not? San Diego State and Charleston.
I know a lot of people have Charleston winning this game, and I like Charleston, but they've won a ton of games, but they haven't beaten anybody of substance.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of them. I'm going San Diego State.
Well, Kawhi Leonard isn't walking through that door. San Diego State's an okay team. The Mountain West has been proving year in and year out, like at least the last few, that they're just an overrated conference that gets a lot of bids. I'm going Charleston with the upset. So, Zach, your pick.
Like the Mountain West had 4 teams in the tournament this year?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, they already lost one in the play-in.
Yeah.
Nevada, or the first 4.
Yeah. So, I'm going with Charleston.
So Charleston, the Charleston Chews for the upset. Virginia and Furman?
Virginia.
Creighton and North Carolina State?
Creighton.
I'm going Creighton as well. Baylor and Cal Santa Barbara?
Baylor.
Yep. No upset for the Gauchos. Missouri and Utah State?
This is an interesting one. There should be a ton of points scored. I think the over-under is 155, something like that. This will be up and down, high scoring. A lot of people like Utah State. I'm going to take Missouri because I can't go against my little chubby point guard. I love the guy. He's just I love watching him play. I need to get more than one game of Nick Honor in this tournament. Khalid El-Amin, the last little chubby point guard, led his team to a national championship. Don't think Nick Honor can do that, but I love little chubby point guard, so I'm going to take the little chubby point guard.
All right, I'm going with Chubb as well. Utah State, again, a team that's capable, high-scoring team, but a Mountain West team. So give me Missouri as well. And then Arizona and the Princeton Tigers.
Arizona.
All right. Bama, West Virginia.
Bama.
Charleston and Virginia.
Charleston.
The Charleston Chews, man. Creighton and Baylor.
Baylor.
I got Baylor as well. I hope you're right about Baylor. I think I have them going a long way. And then Missouri and Arizona.
Arizona over Missouri.
I know. I'm kidding around. I hear so many people with the accent go, Missouri. Arizona, me as well. All right. Bama, Charleston.
Bama.
Baylor and Arizona.
Baylor.
I would pick Arizona in this one.
Really? Okay.
Zach?
We're going with Arizona.
Okay. Bama and Arizona. Duke and Marquette. We already got that. Okay. Bama and Arizona.
Alabama.
I'm with you. Alabama. So we have Alabama representing the South. We have Xavier representing the Midwest. We have Kansas representing the West. Marquette representing the East. So it would be Bama versus Marquette.
Bama.
National semis. I have Bama as well. Xavier, Kansas.
Kansas.
Kansas as well. Who wins the national championship?
Bama.
Bama was my pick in the office pool. Bama is my pick here. No need for Zach to break the tie. Alabama national champions. What do you think, Zach? What does that mean?
At some point, the jump shot is going to fail them. At some point.
Yeah, but they have Brandon Miller. I don't know how
he's talented. Quinterly and all them guys on that team, they're very talented. But you live and die by the entire tournament. That's going to be the interesting part.
That is the Sports 56 Mornings consensus office pool. There we go.
Have you
Bama
filled out a
over
bracket,
Kansas.
Zach?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What's your final four?
My final four, I have Arizona, Marquette, Kansas, and Houston.
Arizona, Marquette, Kansas, Houston. So you have Arizona beating Baylor or beating Alabama? I mean, in that.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people, I mean, you look at this season, you go, it's been crazy, right? Number ones every week they kept losing. So you would think it's wide open. That's the word, right? Or the words, wide open. It seems like that most people, when they're knocking out a number one, they're knocking out Purdue. That seems to be with a lot of brackets that are people I know. They've knocked out Purdue. I think I don't remember if I had multiple number ones advancing. I think I may have had just the one, Alabama.
For a couple of things on that. First of all, yes, I mean, Purdue has struggled a little bit after they were so dominant early in the year. They struggled a little bit down the stretch. They don't fit the typical thing because they were not a top 25 team preseason, all that.
Right.
Plus, I'm sure a lot of people you're talking about are Memphis fans. So they're playing them in the second round.
Well,
so they're going to knock out Purdue of the number one seed.
No, I'm talking about national people because and they're not Memphis fans, but there are a few Memphis fans. Yes, friends of mine and things of that nature. But I think a lot of that was what I have read online, and I look at the Final Four predictions and I don't see Purdue in a lot of them.
I have Alabama, Kansas State, Kansas. And I was going to have Texas in the Final Four, but then I realized that's 3 Big 12 teams, and I'm like, there's no way 3 Big 12 teams are going to go to the Final Four. So I have Miami. So I have Miami, Kansas, Kansas State, Alabama.
You've been consistent with loving Miami. They have some injuries which worry me. I'm trying to do this by memory. I left it at home, but I got Texas in the Final Four. There's no question. I have Texas. I have Alabama. I have, let's see, from this region I think I have UCLA, and I know they've had injuries. And the other one, I think it's Marquette. I think I have Marquette. UCLA, Texas, and Alabama. But I know I have Alabama winning the national championship.
I have Alabama winning over Kansas in the championship game.
Oh, you do? So this came out exactly what you have?
In the final, yes.
Oh, my gosh. That's weird.
Well, that's not that weird.
Well, it is kind of weird. We had 3 guys deciding
It's 2
these
number
things.
one seeds. two of the best teams in the country, and we have 3 people, and I'm one of them. It's not like it's a consensus of 35 people, and I'm only one of them. I'm a third of the opinion.
True, but it's still 3 different people and 3 different people's opinion. All right, there you go. That's our picks for the tournament. When we come back, we got NFL news aplenty, and then coming up at 9:05, former college basketball longtime assistant coach Scott Spinelli, who's now the host of the Breakdown on the Believe Podcast Network, talking college basketball. We will discuss the tournament with Scott. That'll be coming up at 9:05. And then plenty of time to take your calls and texts after that on the tournament, on the Grizzlies, on Ja. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes. Metro Builders. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. Metro Builders, your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with Metro Builders. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold P7866 988, MSRP 22,945, K5 PG 200 400, MSRP 26,455, Sportage PG 107 225, MSRP 29,790. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance 200. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to give Memphis your best deals at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
That's what I always do, Randy. How about a 2023 Kia Soul LX, only $333 a month and $27.99 due at signing. Looking for luxury? 2023 Kia K5 LXS, $362 a month or $31.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Or how about the 2023 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive?
We got it at $381 per month, 36-month lease, and $34.99 due at signing.
And don't forget Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And Jeff, what if I don't see exactly what I want?
I'll order it for you, Randy, so whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Golfers, teed up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway, featuring the Paradigm Woods and Irons. The Paradigm Woods are engineered with forged carbon to have unparalleled distance and forgiveness. The Irons feature a high-strength forged face for increased launch, speed, and spin. A new paradigm in performance. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Some listeners like you are experiencing firsthand the amazing pain relief from QC Kinetics, even calling your favorite radio host to share the good news.
QC Kinetics. I had my right ankle worked on 4 months ago. Awesome.
That's great, look Mick. At that, man. Yes, they worked on my elbow.
Every day, the QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients like Mick with the latest regenerative therapies using natural biologics concentrated right at the hurting joint. No surgery, no downtime.
I'm telling you, QC Kinetics is the way to to go if you don't want to go under the knife and suffer for 3 months.
Yep.
It was very easy, as you well know, with your elbow.
I'm telling
Anyways,
you.
you guys are awesome.
Mick, appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the phone call. Really appreciate it. I'm so glad that QC Kinetics did some wonders for you. I mean, regenerative medicine, man, that's the thing these days. Living proof right there.
Call QC Kinetics now for your consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Major League Baseball season, regular season, begins in a couple weeks. In the meantime, you got spring training going on, but you also have the World Baseball Classic. Did you see the injury to Edwin Diaz last night?
Yeah, that's unfortunate when you're injured celebrating.
We've seen these celebration injuries before, but this could be critical. I'm not sure what the deal is. I think it was his right leg. He couldn't put any weight on the right leg. This is after a celebration for his native Puerto Rico and their win over the Dominican Republic. I think it was the quarterfinals, knocking them out. So, hopefully the news will come out to be positive for Diaz with his injury, but it did not look good. Actually, very critical for the Mets. From the NFL, Aaron Rodgers yesterday making an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, said he plans to play for the Jets this season, said he made the decision on Friday and just announced it yesterday. He said that when he went on his little retreat, his 4 days of darkness, basically contemplating his career and his life, he said he was about 80% sure he was going to retire. So not only is he not retiring, it looks like he'll be wearing a different shade of green. The question is, will the Jets and the Packers be able to reach a deal? They are negotiating right now for Aaron Rodgers to go to New York. I mean, could you imagine they don't reach a deal? I mean, how awkward is that going to be? He's pretty much been pushed out the door in Green Bay, and the door's been opened up for Jordan Love. I think this deal will happen, Eli, but I'm just wondering what the compensation will be, though.
It will absolutely. I mean, Green Bay is wanting to move on, and they're going to try and get as much as they can. But at some point, they're going to have to. The Jets know, like, you can't get too much out of us. Like, you want to move on from him. He wants to come here. Like, well, it'll get done.
Why that leaked out? That, and I forget who it was that was attributed to the quote that basically said we're moving on from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you're obviously making it pretty clear to the Jets, and your leverage is gone. I mean, they should have kept it where, hey, we don't know. I mean, if we can't make a deal, yeah, we'd love to keep the future Hall of Famer. But no, they made it pretty clear that they were moving on from him. Jets have the leverage, but the Jets need the quarterback, so maybe they don't have the leverage. I don't know. It gets a little crazy when it comes to negotiations, but Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform, even though it'll be green, will look pretty bizarre. Jacoby Brissett has signed with the Commanders. Gives them another option if it's not going to be Sam Howell at quarterback. So we got quarterbacks moving all around. Baker Mayfield is headed to Tampa Bay, where the talk was that, Kyle Trask is going to win that job. He's been waiting in the wings. Well, not so fast, my friend. Baker Mayfield, good chance to go in there, win the job, and be the starter for Tampa Bay.
Could, yeah. We'll see if he can kind of pick the pieces up of his career and find a home there in Tampa now.
He did all right with the Rams when he went there for the short period of time he was with them last year. Do they still have Blaine Gabbert as well?
I am not sure what his status is as far as contract goes.
So yesterday we were talking about the Lions situation after they signed Montgomery, and then you guys acknowledged that Jamal Williams was a free agent. I had no idea. He's now with the Saints. So there goes all those short yardage touchdowns. Jamal Williams goes from Detroit to New Orleans. Will be doing it now in a Saints uniform. Good acquisition for the Saints. I'm not sure what their running back situation is. Kamara is there. Is Ingram still playing?
I don't know if Ingram is a free agent or not. I would guess with that pickup he probably is, but I'm not sure.
In the meantime, the Patriots signed Juju Smith-Schuster, 3 years, $33 million. Jacoby Myers is like, what? Huh? So Schuster headed to New England, and the Patriots are said to be very interested in a number of receivers in a possible trade, including Jerry Jeudy from Denver. They're looking at DeAndre Hopkins. A lot of teams are looking at DeAndre Hopkins, and the possibility of signing Odell Beckham Jr. Cowboys, maybe the Jets now, because that was on Aaron Rodgers' wish list. New England, other teams.
Well, Rodgers says he didn't give a wish list. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is this the one where he got mad at Schefter? What was the deal with Schefter? And he said, lose my phone number.
Schefter just reached out to him on asking him about, because when they were, I think he said it was after Trey Wingo had reported that the deal was done or something like that. And Schefter said he had talked to people from Green Bay. They said, you got to talk to the Jets or something. And the Jets were like, so everybody was like passing along. And he said, so he just reached out straight to Aaron Rodgers. He's like, everybody says to just come to you. So I'm coming to you. And Rodgers' response was, lose my number. Nice try, though. But yeah, Rodgers says he did not give the wish list. But he did say that of course, anybody would like to have OBJ on their team, blah, blah, blah. I just hope OBJ signs somewhere soon so we could quit talking about where OBJ might sign.
Oh, my God, 2 years and counting.
It's so tired. Like, I want the Rodgers deal done and OBJ to be signed so we can have some other thing to talk about in the NFL other than where Aaron Rodgers is going and who's signing OBJ.
Isn't the Rodgers deal, it doesn't have to do with insurance? Don't you get the Rodgers deal?
The Rodgers rate.
Right?
The Rodgers
from Jake
rate.
From State Farm will give you the Rodgers rate. By the way, how did the relationship happen between McAfee and Rodgers? McAfee, did he ever play for Green Bay? He played for the Colts, right?
Was I believe it was at a golf tournament, if I remember the story correct. I believe it was, and I think A.J. Hawk might have been the one that introduced them.
Okay.
Something like I want to say it was at a celebrity golf tournament of some sort is when they first met and just became friends.
Yeah, they hit it off, but that's his guy.
McAfee has told the story before, and I want to say it was a golf tournament.
Yeah, McAfee is the one who's going to get it's almost like when Windhorse was always getting the LeBron James stuff back in his early days. Now it's obviously Pat McAfee with Aaron Rodgers. That's who Rodgers trusts. All right, 2 hours in the books. When we come back, final hour, we'll open things up with Scott Spinelli, longtime college basketball assistant coach, now host of The Breakdown on the Believe Podcast Network. We'll talk to him about the tournament. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Thinking about buying a newer used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and interest rates low as 2.9. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way you're doing business. Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Do not. Do so. You do not love Central Barbecue more than me. I've been talking about Central Barbecue for years. I was the first person to do these spots. Well, I may be new doing them, but I want to shout from the rooftops just how much I love it. Okay, smart guy. What are the sides at Central Barbecue? Easy. Home-cooked pork rinds, home-cooked potato chips, greens, green beans, barbecue beans, onion rings, fries, and potato salad. Lucky guess. What can you buy by the pound, huh? Beef brisket, pulled pork, smoked turkey, my favorite, pulled chicken, smoked chicken, and barbecue bologna. Ha! We're out of time. I could do this all day.
The biggest tournament in college basketball is here. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on college hoops and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can score a no-sweat bet during round 1 and 2 of the tournament. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FSR. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, win or lose. That's code FSR. Gambler. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Bonus issued as bonus bets. Opt-in required. One bonus bet issued based on amount of initial losing college basketball bet up to $10. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on eating out, fuel costs, and replacing expensive grills that cannot stand up to the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on eating out, fuel costs, and replacing expensive grills that cannot stand up to the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Calling all the Mid-South. Bobby J is waiting for your call today to drive off in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2023 Kia Soul LX $333 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia K5 LXS $362 a month, $31.99 due at signing. And 2023 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive $381 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. And if you can't find what you're looking for, let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. Plus Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold P7866988, MSRP 22,945. K5 PG 200/400, MSRP 26,455. Sportage PG 107,225, MSRP 29,790. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance 200. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, Greg, you got your wish. We got a few accidents on the roadways. Accident on Graham Street at Tutwiler. 240 at Poplar. We got a stalled vehicle on 240 West at Poplar. The left lane is blocked. And then 240 at Poplar, the off-ramp is partially blocked there. A couple of accidents on I-55. I-55 South at Mississippi 302. That's Goodman Road. Left lane is blocked there. And then I-55 North at Nesbitt Pleasant Hill, the right shoulder is blocked. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute. Pretend.
Welcome back, everybody. See, that's my Memphis, Zach. I'm not wishing for any accidents, and hopefully all the accidents don't cause any injuries or fatalities. I'm not wishing for that. I just know that that's going to happen. So that was a quick turnaround from your 8 o'clock update. We welcome you back to Sports 56 Mornings, 9:06 the time. Currently, it is 52 degrees on the way up to about 65, 66 today. A little bit of clouds, a little bit of sun, and then rain coming in at about dinner time. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you on this Thursday, March 16th, 2023. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, their preseason patio and pool sale continues. It's where family and fun come together. Family Leisure at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Been talking Grizzlies and John. Of course, the NCAA basketball tournament in a little over 2 hours. The first game of the day tips off from Birmingham, the South region. My Maryland Terrapins and West Virginia. And speaking of Maryland, our next guest happened to be an assistant coach at Maryland, Wichita State, Texas A&M, among others. In 2021, he was the interim head coach at Boston College. Now he's doing some basketball talking in the media like we do. He is the host of the Breakdown podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. He is Scott Spinelli. You can follow him on Twitter at Coach_Spinelli. And Scott joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Hey, Scott, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me and for the kind introduction. I appreciate it.
Thank you. By the way, were the best days, and hopefully you got more coaching days ahead, but were the best days of coaching in College Park? Come on now, say yes.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like that, especially this time of year, right?
There you go. So, Scott, does a great defense beat a great offense, or does a great offense beat a great defense when it comes down to winning a championship?
You know what? I think that's a great question. Look, there's going to be some teams here that in the tournament, kind of typify that. Arizona, tremendous offensive team. Do they defend well enough? You've got teams like Virginia who defend so well, but can they score enough? So to answer your question, I think, one, obviously defensively, I think that probably is the most important part of winning championships is being able to defend. But there has to be a balance in this day and age in basketball because the three-point line, no matter how well you're defending possession to possession, that three-point line is the great equalizer. So I think there's a little bit of both now. But, yeah, I would be a defensive-minded guy all the time, but at the same time, you do have to have balance.
When you are looking at matchups in this tournament, what are you maybe looking for that makes the right situation for the upset?
Well, I think first and foremost is the personnel matchups, right? In terms of, some of these low to mid-major teams or some of these teams that are playing with some unconventional lineups, meaning like position-wise playing 6'5" guys at the 5 or 6'6" or 6'7", undersized guys who have versatility and skill, I think sometimes presents a matchup problem to some of the Power 5 conferences who play traditionally with those 6'10", 6'11", 7-foot centers, and sometimes you have to adjust to those matchups. So I think that would be one thing to keep an eye on. And the second thing is style of play, guys. Look, I mean, when you play against a team in the NCAA tournament that you haven't seen before, that style of play could either really hurt you or help you depending upon what you're familiar with. And look, in a 10-game series or a 7-game series, usually the most talented team is going to win. But in a one-game showdown, and in the NCAA tournament on this stage, a lot of it has to do with matchups and style of play.
Mm-hmm. You've been a coach for a long time, so I would imagine that you don't believe that a team would take another team for granted. They would underestimate a team, even a higher seed who's playing a lower seed, that they are dialed in against that team. And maybe it's not that, but maybe there's a little bit of undervaluing the talent on a particular team that's a lower seed, especially those mid-majors.
Well, look, I think if you go in with that mindset, that's the recipe too to add to, packing up and going home early.
Right.
I mean, there's some teams in this tournament, starting out, that are lower seeds, I should say, that you would look at from a Power 5 conference and say, yeah, we'll beat these guys. But couldn't be further from the truth, especially in this year's tournament, because, again, with the transfer portal, with so many of these mid-major teams who have gotten old. I mean, you look at Drake, they've got 2 guys who are 25 years old in the starting lineup. They got 4,000-point scorers in the starting lineup. I do think they have a tough task against Miami. But, again, there's situations like that you just cannot take for granted if you think you're just going to show up and beat somebody.
The thing I always struggle with, one of the ones I brought up, Charleston, there's a lot of people that seem to really like Charleston in the first round against San Diego State, and I think Charleston is a good team. They've got a ton of wins. But then I look at it, they've got 2 wins all season over top 100 Ken Pom teams. And those happened back in November. They just haven't played anybody since then. So, I don't know how to judge a team like Charleston.
That's a tough question, too, right? Because, to your point, they maybe haven't been as battle-tested as some of these other teams are. Look, I mean, the West Coast Conference, I thought, was going to do a little bit better this year. They haven't done as well in the tournament as a whole. And, last night, Nevada, really just didn't show up in that game. But look, I think to your point, you can look at it that way. You can also look at it from the standpoint that, hey, look, College of Charleston's coming in with tremendous confidence. I mean, they don't really care who they're playing based on the fact that, again, these are young kids who have, again, won their conference tournament championship, coming in with confidence. They feel like they can play and beat anybody. That really does make a difference. That's half the battle, right? Coming into the NCAA tournament is having that confidence and belief and that connectivity that your team is connected, and that when you hit adversity, you're going to be able to stay the course together. So, again, I think you can look at it both ways.
All right, on those same lines, Eli brought up Charleston. Florida Atlantic and Memphis, as you know, will play tomorrow night in Columbus, Ohio. Florida Atlantic has a gaudy record. They have great shooters. They played Florida. They got to win over Florida. Pretty good, decent SEC team that's not in the tournament. But their schedule's pretty much, again, a lot of non-conference teams that are average at best. Memphis played a really rugged non-conference schedule. They have two incredibly talented players. I just think that Memphis, and not being a homer here, if they play what we saw last weekend, the way they played against Tulane and then Houston to knock off the number one team to win the American Conference Tournament title, I don't see how they lose that game to Florida Atlantic. But tell me if I'm thinking at it the way I should. I mean, Florida Atlantic is obviously a good shooting team, but I don't think they're battle proven.
No, but I do think this. When you face a team that has 7 guys, literally 7, that have made 30 or more three-pointers, I can tell you right now, the three-point line, as you guys know, is the great equalizer in basketball. And I think, you have to come in mindful of the fact that, look, if you're Memphis, you're going to – I'm sure that that's what Coach Hardaway and his staff are basically preaching is, hey, guys, look, we have to make these guys beat us from the 2-point line, because if they get going from the 3, no matter how quick Memphis is, how good DeAndre Williams is, I mean, how athletic they are, how much bigger they are, if they're scoring 2s and Florida Atlantic is banging 3, that's the recipe for a major upset there. But look, I got to tell you, too, any team that's won 30-plus games, even when we're talking about the College of Charleston in Division I basketball, those teams are good teams. And no matter who they played, 30 wins is hard to come by. Again, on the road, you're winning those games with, going fighting through adversity. And there's so much that goes into winning on the road in college. So, look, I think Florida Atlantic is going to be a huge, huge challenge for Memphis in this game. But I do agree with you. I think Memphis is playing exceptionally well right now. Obviously, they've got a lot of confidence. I think the key to them is going to be to defend the three-point line and try to create some offense through their defense. And if they do those two things, they will win. If they don't, they could be in trouble.
And you're absolutely right about defending the three-point line, defending the perimeter. As a coach, how do you defend the perimeter and be successful in doing so?
Well, look, going back to when I was coaching at Maryland back in the old ACC when Coach K was there, it seems crazy to say that now, but I mean, one of the things that we used to do, look, Duke plays, you can play inside out in 2 ways in basketball. One is you throw it to the post and you play inside out, meaning everybody in the perimeter is relocating and moving, and that post man is looking to kick it out to the 3-point line. And what happens as a coach is you're taught, as a player, you teach your players position defense. So 2 passes away, you're usually in help side position, helping down, just that's your position that you're taught fundamentally. That's the correct position. Well, when we would play Duke back then, we would stay connected out on the perimeter. So in other words, if the post guy had it, don't worry about it. Let him beat you down there one-on-one. If he scores 30, Plumlee, great. But we're not letting him kick it out to guys relocating on the perimeter to the 3-point line. And the second part of that is on penetration. On penetration, you're taught 1 pass away, help, 2 pass away, weak side positioning, try to step up and rotate. But if you do that on dribble drives, 2 against Florida Atlantic, now you're giving up the 3. So there's a couple different ways to do it. But the problem is that, again, that's not how you've been taught to play the game in terms of your defensive positioning. So, again, it takes an adjustment, but that's not an easy adjustment to make, guys.
So what is your Final Four?
Tell you what, look, I've never seen an NCAA tournament with so many storylines behind the 1 seeds. I mean, look, you talk about Houston. I thought Houston coming into the tournament, if Mark, if Sasser was healthy, and now again, I don't know if he's healthy. I just thought Houston was the most complete team on both ends. Defensively, we know how good they are. But I thought offensively this year was one of the better Houston teams we've seen, and they've got depth. The problem is they can't win without Sasser to the level I think they want to win national titles. So, again, the question mark with Houston is Sasser. Kansas, you hope Coach Self's healthy. If he's healthy, I love Jalen Wilson and the fact that he declared for the draft his first 2 years, came back, Big 12 Player of the Year. They cut down the Nets last year. I thought Kansas was going to get there. And then from there, I like Duke. I think Duke right now, guys, is playing very, very well. They've got tremendous talent. They actually can play against smaller teams. They've got skill. They've got star power. I really like Duke. I mean, those are three teams that I like. And then, you think about the other, one seeds that have some issues. Alabama's got a lot of distraction guys. Be interesting to see what happens with them when they hit adversity, because they will hit it right off the bat, even in that second round game. Are they going to stay together, or is that distraction going to affect them? And then obviously Purdue, those young guards, can they handle pressure? Can they advance further in the tournament? So a lot of question marks there. But to answer your question, I still like Houston. I like Kansas. I love Duke on that other side. And then again, I'm kind of torn between my fourth team in terms of who it might be. But again, I'll leave that kind of as a question mark. But if you ask me, I think Creighton is a team that's going to sneak up on some people in that South bracket.
I think, that the South. I like Creighton a lot, but I love Baylor too, because I love the three guards there at Baylor, and the Baylor Creighton second round game, if that's what we get, I think could be an epic game, and I think the winner of that has a chance to go to the Final Four.
I agree with you. I do. I'm right with you.
So which of the you just gave us some interesting things to think about with question marks for all those number ones in this year, which seems to be wide open. So who would you say would be the most vulnerable of the number one to go down early? Would it be Houston if Sasser's not 100%, or who would it be in your opinion?
Well, look, I think, Kansas has got a tough second-round matchup. Listen, Howard's going to play them, hard today. They're going to play well. They got some high major guys on that team. But I think Kansas is a team that right now has a really tough second-round matchup. But to answer your question, look, I'm going to go with Purdue just because that second-round game against Memphis or Florida Atlantic is going to present a huge problem for Purdue either way. I just think that they got, obviously the ED in the middle is tremendous. Their guards are young. They do defend, but the athleticism and the speed and quickness of Memphis will propose a huge problem for those young guards at Purdue. And Florida Atlantic's ability to make the three-point shot all over the floor, we just talked about that. Edey's going to have to come away from the basket and defend out there in the perimeter. And I'm not sure he can do that from the three-point line. That's just my take. I think Purdue's very vulnerable.
A couple of other teams that we got a lot of fans here. You mentioned Kansas, possible second-round matchup with Arkansas. Eric Musselman has had some runs in the NCAA tournament with Nevada and Arkansas. Arkansas has a ton of talent. Can they put it all together and make a run?
I think game to game they can. I mean, look, you said it. Coach Musselman is to me, I think he's just an incredible coach. I think he does an unreal job. Love his intensity and his passion. I think he's, shown a lot of, a lot of fire after losing, in the SEC tournament. I think Arkansas is going to be ready to go here, and I think they're going to propose a huge problem for Illinois in the first round. And if they win that game, I think that's going to be an absolute barn burner against Kansas in the second round. So, yes, I think Arkansas does present a huge problem, especially with the passion and fire of their coach.
And then Tennessee, obviously, Zakai Ziegler is a huge loss. They've been very inconsistent throughout the year, especially on the offensive end. They're a great defensive team, although they lose some of that with Ziegler out. You love Duke, and they would have Duke in the second round. But what do you think of Tennessee going into this?
Oh, gee, I just feel for them because I thought coming into the season, I thought Tennessee had, with Josiah James, so many guys coming back to their roster. There wasn't as many, those transfers that everybody else is kind of trying to put a team together as opposed to a program. And Tennessee had that program kind of on solid footing and built, and you just feel for them. But I think it's going to be really hard for Tennessee. I think that first game, I don't know much about Louisiana. Again, I'm sure they're going to be a a formidable challenge. But whoever they play, and if Duke continues on this run that they're on, that's going to be a huge problem for Tennessee against Duke in that second round game.
Final thing from me, obviously you want to go into the tournament playing your best basketball, being hot at the end of the season as opposed to being cold, but it doesn't guarantee you anything. Two teams that were red hot at the end, Marquette, Texas. I like them both. What do you think?
Marquette, again, I think they surprised a lot of us. I mean, I know they surprised me. I mean, they're playing with that VCU magic that Shaka Smart had back when he was at VCU, and they went to the Final Four. They seem to be so well connected. There's a camaraderie. They're playing so well together with so much confidence. For them to do what they did in the Big East tournament and to take this into the NCAA tournament, I think that's huge for them. So I do like Marquette, but I do think they have a tough road, in terms of that, especially that second round matchup. Whoever it is, I mean, USC trying to flex their muscle and show that they can compete in the Big Ten, because next year they're in the Big Ten, or moving forward, I should say, and they're playing Michigan State. But as far as Texas is concerned, they've got a very, very difficult road to get there. Colgate, again, they lost Cummings, their fifth-year guy that went to Pitt. He's playing with Pitt now, but they still are very NCAA battle-tested, that matchup zone. They're going to propose some problems for Texas in that game. And then if they do get by, Colgate, Texas A&M is that rugged, physical team that rebounds, defends well. And I like A&M beating Penn State. I think A&M, Texas, I coached at A&M. I'm an Aggie. That was going to be a really intense game. But A&M's style of play could give Texas problems.
He is Scott Spinelli, longtime assistant basketball coach in the college ranks and the host of the Breakdown podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Get it where you get your podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Coach_Spinelli. Scott, it's been a pleasure having you on the program. Enjoy the tournament.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. Well, the madness is here. It's arrived. We're ready to go. Game one of the day, about an hour and a half from now. Protect yourself against upsets with Bracket Parlay Insurance. Only on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, all customers can get up to $25 back each day if your parlay of 3 legs or more falls 1 leg short. With a parlay, you can turn a small bet into a slam dunk. And with Cash Out, you're calling the shots. You can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is over. So just sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account or go to FanDuel.com/Gasman. That's the promo code to sign up today. FanDuel.com/Gasman. That's FanDuel.com/Gasman. I haven't really put together a parlay yet. I know I love Texas giving away 13.5 to Colgate. He just talked about Colgate in their matchup zone, but I think Texas runs away with that one. And, of course, I'm taking the Tigers, as I already talked about, tomorrow night against Florida Atlantic. So we'll see. I think parlays, they're not easy to complete, but I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially early on in the NCAA tournament. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus bet $25 per day unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. All right, when we come back, final half hour, kind of throwing out anything and everything. We will open up the phone lines to you at 901-360-8255. Get back into the Grizzlies conversation, the John Morant news from yesterday. What are your thoughts on that? The tournament, who are your picks to go to the Final Four and win it all? This is your opportunity. Hit us up also on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or on the website at www.sportsmemphis.com. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes. Metro Builders. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year no dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. Metro Builders, your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with Metro Builders. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Get in the game with DeSoto Auto Sales.
We're maniacs from all this madness, and if we're going to catch all these games, we need your help. So DeSoto Auto Sales has cooked up a 3-point plan to help you rebound from your old ride.
Step 1, pick any of our rides on the lot.
Step 2, pass us your old ride.
Step 3, we'll come in with the assist.
So if your old ride makes you feel like you're on the second string, it's time for a rebound, and we can get you in that ride of your dreams.
Worried about fouls on your credit report? The DeSoto Auto Sales credit approval process is a slam dunk. But hurry, this deal is done at the buzzer. DeSoto Auto Sales is the Mid-South's #1 pre-owned dealer, and we're not afraid to go into double overtime for you.
See all our rides at DeSotoAutoSales.com.
That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Who's lightning?
Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. Final half hour of today's edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Bill Self was not with the Jayhawks for Wednesday's public practice. Assistant coach Norm Roberts, who coached the team in the Big 12 tournament, said Self's availability to work Thursday's NCAA tournament opener was in question. He said, "We are hopeful." Obviously, Bill Self has been out. He had a not surgery, but a procedure that was done on him. And the word was that he would return. But again, he's been out. Heart catheterization. He had 2 stents placed for the treatment of blocked arteries. So that's a pretty quick turnaround to be back out there coaching, especially when you had a procedure on your heart. But they said he would be back, so we'll see.
The tournament again gets underway today. 11:15 is the first tip-off between West Virginia and Maryland. That'll be on CBS at 11:40 on True TV, Virginia and Furman. Then 12:40 on TNT, Missouri and Utah State. Utah State, the 10 seed, is the favorite in that game. They're a 1-point favorite over the 7 seed Missouri. And then at 1 o'clock, it will be Kansas and Howard. That game will be on TBS. Then the second wave, you've got Alabama in action against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Alabama a 24-point favorite. San Diego State and Charleston. Again, a lot of people like Charleston. San Diego State a 5-point favorite in that one. Arizona and Princeton. And then Illinois and Arkansas is a scheduled 3:30 tip-off on TBS. Arkansas right now a 2-point favorite over Illinois in that one. And then in the night session, you got Auburn and Iowa, which figures to be a really good one. Auburn a 1-point favorite in that. Duke, only a 6-point favorite over Oral Roberts. It's a little smaller line than I would have thought for that. But again, Oral Roberts has the great player who has done it before. Texas, a 13-point favorite over Colgate. Northwestern and Boise State. My man Boo Buie and the Cats, 1.5-point favorite over Boise State today. Houston against Northern Kentucky, and we still don't know whether Marcus Sasser is going to play. 18-point favorite for Houston in that game. And then you got Tennessee and Louisiana tonight, scheduled at 8:40 on CBS. Tennessee has an 11-point favorite. It seems like a lot.
It's
I
a
gotta
lot.
be honest, because
I think it's a lot.
They just don't score enough at times. I don't know if this game ends up, if they can't score 70 points. I don't know if they could cover 11 points, but that's and the over/under is only 136 in that game. Texas A&M and Penn State. A&M a 3-point favorite in that one. And then the final game of the night is UCLA against UNC Asheville. And that will be UCLA is a big favorite. They're 17.5-point favorite over Asheville, who has to travel across country for that game against UCLA. Reggie texted, asks us any news on Keontae Kennedy.
He's not going to play.
Yeah,
I mean, he just put that one to bed.
He's certainly not this weekend.
I don't think that guy's playing again this season. I never thought it when the injury happened. I never thought he would. I know it was said. I don't see it. Plus, he hasn't played in a while now. So all of a sudden, you're going to throw him out there? Like, oh, the cast is off, throw him out there. He's not even in basketball playing shape. I mean, he's in shape, but he's not been up and down the court. I just don't. I think that ship has sailed. You're moving on without Keontae Kennedy.
Yeah, he's not going to play this weekend. If he advance, and I don't know where his situation is, and if he could, practice next week and maybe get ready for the second weekend. But I wouldn't expect that. But he's not going to play this weekend.
So in today's action, and again, we just made consensus picks, but I'm asking you from the bracket that you put together, today's games, so 16 games today, do you have any, let's say, 12 or higher upsets? Anybody seated 12 or higher?
No.
Nobody. Do you have a double-digit upset? 10 or 11?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So going more chalky.
Did I take Missouri? Yes, I took Missouri. So no, I do not have any double-digit seeds with it today.
So again, and I'm probably similar. Again, I don't have mine in front of me, my bracket, but going a little chalky. It feels like this is the year not to go chalky, just because how crazy the whole season has been. Every time a team became number one, they got knocked off. Doesn't mean it'll go like that in the tournament. I thought the conference tournament, the American Conference tournament, we'd see some upsets. We did not. It went according to plan, 1 versus 2. Now, 2 beat 1 with Memphis beating Houston. That was an upset. But, again, the Sasser factor was part of the reason why. The other was Memphis played incredibly well. But, again, it seems like it's set up to have a lot of surprises this year. But that doesn't mean that'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's certainly going to be upsets.
It's just picking the right ones.
Trying to figure out which ones are the right ones to pick. It's like that's the hard part.
I never do. I never pick the right upsets.
That's a difficult thing. And I'm sure, I'm guessing there probably very well could be a double-digit seed that wins it. Well, again, I mean, Utah State, even though they're a double-digit seed, is actually the favorite in the game against Missouri. They're a 1-point favorite over Missouri in that 7-10 matchup. So whatever you want to consider that as an upset or however you want to look at that one. But, yeah, I'm sure there will be some double-digit seeds that win today, but it's hard to envision which ones are going to be the right ones.
What did you think of what Scott Spinelli, our guest last segment, folks, for those of you just tuning in, what do you think about what he said about Alabama, that he worries about the distractions? Haven't they already been through the distractions and now are battle-tested? Wouldn't you think that they've already dealt with enough of that?
They had a little bit of taste of it in the SEC tournament and obviously performed pretty well. But I mean, during the regular season, like, they could protect Brandon Miller. He's not in front of the media, like everything. Now, in the SEC tournament, he was and had to answer his question. But now you're getting more national media, and the questions are going to continue to come to Nate Oates, to Brandon Miller. Obviously, Nate Oates is talking about his need for security. That's clearly got to be a little bit of a distraction.
Do you think it'll affect them?
I mean,
we both picked them to win it all.
I think they're a really good basketball team, and I think he's an unbelievable player. If it could it? Yeah, it could. I think they will be able to overcome it, and he's such a special player that and they've got a lot of other really good ones, but he's just a special player, and what they did in the SEC tournament, they were really, really impressive. So I think they're playing really well right now.
The Tigers and Florida Atlantic, we've talked about Florida Atlantic's ability to shoot the rock. The Tigers defensively, for as good as they've been at times defensively, and the emphasis that has been put on defense by Penny and Frank Haith, who came in as a defensive guy, we saw lapses. I'm not going to say a lot, but we saw them throughout the season. Now, some of it could have been because of injuries. You had Lomax out for a long time. You had Dandridge out for a long time. But we did see problems at times with the perimeter, defending the perimeter. The first UCF game. There's other games, of course. How concerning should that be? Or do you think that they have enough, and they had obviously ample time to know once they knew who their opponent was, to adjust? Is there something we see that could be a change that's a drastic change? Or do you think that with the personnel they have right now, they can guard the perimeter well to be able to be in position to win this game in advance?
Well, no, absolutely. I've said all week, like that's the concern with Florida Atlantic is they could come out and make 12, 15 threes on you. Like they have that ability, and it's a lot of guys. It's not 2 guys you got to worry about. They've got like basically the entire team, and they play a lot of guys. They have the highest scoring bench in America.
But you can't be switching off. You can't be doing that stuff. You can't be doubling. With the Tigers get themselves in trouble sometimes, and then they whip it around and get the open guy, and that's what Coach Spinelli was telling us about. Right, the guy, if they play inside out, let's say they got the guy in the post and they got 4 around the perimeter and they're always moving around. If you're guarding the perimeter with those guys and you're not concerned with trying to double up a guy who gets the ball in the post, I think you're in good shape. The problem is when somebody leaves their guy to double up the dude in the post and he kicks it out to the open guy.
Well, I don't think Florida Atlantic has anybody in the post that the Tigers have to worry about doubling.
Right.
Not anyone on their team. That
But they
Tigers
always
would
seem
want
to do that. There's always help defense.
It's breaking down off the dribble. Where they get killed is breaking down off the dribble. The on-ball defense has to be good. You can't get beat where you have to have help. That's where it comes from. It's not doubling on the post. It's guys getting beat off the dribble that has been a problem for the Tigers. And again, this is a Florida Atlantic team that I don't think they have a lot of guys. Again, if the Tigers are playing well defensively, like they shouldn't be getting beat off the dribble by these guys. But when you are talking about most of the time, 4 or 5 shooters on the court, it can be easy for somebody to get lost or and guys get open looks, and Florida Atlantic has that ability to knock those down. And if the Tigers have one of their games, the Tigers shot the ball great during the conference tournament. If they continue to do that, if they can make 8 or 9, well, that's okay. Then even if Florida Atlantic makes 14 or 15, okay, you can overcome that. If the Tigers go 2 for 14 and Florida Atlantic goes 15 for 35, well, now you're trying to make up 39 points
that happens
from the three-point line, and that is a difficult task. So it's the Tigers, if they can continue to shoot the ball well, and just keep within shouting distance from the three-point line, because they should be very good at inside the arc. They should dominate inside the arc.
8-9's a coin flip. It should be a coin flip, right? As far as the seeds, and certainly this is interchangeable with Memphis and Florida Atlantic, or any 8-9 game. Now, if you win, then you're an 8. You're playing a 1, assuming Purdue takes care of business, which I think they will. So with that said, knowing that as an 8-9, it's a flip, it's a coin flip, and as a 8 playing a 1, odds tell you should not win that game. And I've asked you this, I asked you earlier in the week or late last week about Memphis losing, not winning one game in this tournament. Is it still a successful season? You said no. If the Tigers win tomorrow night, they beat Florida Atlantic, play well, lose Sunday against Purdue, again, a team who's the number 1 seed, would you deem it a success?
I think it'll be fairly successful season. Certainly nothing great.
So is Memphis going to be no, you wouldn't consider it an average, though. Is it an average season, or an average season should be for Memphis making the tournament, winning a game? That's an average season. Or is it now going to be looked at as moving forward, especially in that conference? You're getting to the tournament, you're winning the conference tournament, you're getting to the Sweet 16.
Making the tournament, if they were to lose to Florida Atlantic, I would call it an average season. Mm-hmm. Like you got in the tournament, lost your first round, whatever, average season. If you beat Florida Atlantic, and especially if you're competitive against Purdue, but lose a tight game, then it's better than average, but it's certainly not a great season by any means. But again, it comes down to it's not what the postseason would be completely fine. It's the fact that the regular season wasn't good enough to get you out of the 8-9. That's the problem. Your losses, losing to Tulane twice, losing to UCF, losing some of these games continues to put you in a situation for the last 2 years when you have gotten into the tournament that you're in the 8-9 where you're getting the number 1 seed in the second round, and that's the problem.
Fair enough. NIT last night, some results, including a couple of American Conference teams participating. UCF beat Florida. American over the SEC, 67-49. I believe that game was in Gainesville. Virginia Tech lost at Cincinnati, so the Bearcats win 81-72. So UCF and Cincinnati move on to the second round of the NIT. Clemson got beat by Morehead State. Phil Simms passed for 280 yards in that one. And then North Texas, New Texas, North Texas, who will be a member of the American next season, they advanced. They beat Alcorn State 69-53.
Sunrise, located at 670 Jefferson Avenue, and the second location, the new location, the Sunrise East location, which is on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, in the old Blue Plate Cafe building, for fantastic breakfast, great lunch. That is the place to go. Either one of the two locations. The breakfast sandwiches with their homemade biscuits, which are absolutely out of this world, plus all of the other breakfast plates, including the kitchen sink, which is just a little bit of everything for breakfast, plus the lunch, like the bacon cheeseburger, the French dip. Also have the Three Amigos tacos, one of my favorite things on the breakfast menu that you could check out at Sunrise. For Bloody Marys, they've got a massive selection of Bloody Marys that you can choose from. Whatever it is that you're looking for, the folks at Sunrise have great food for both breakfast and lunch to take care of you. Go see them 670 Jefferson Avenue or in East Memphis, the Sunrise East location. You can also find them online at sunrise901.com.
All right, final segment coming up. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade, featuring the Stealth 2 Woods and Irons. The new Stealth 2 Woods combine speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness, and the new Stealth HD Irons deliver high launch with draw bias to give you the confidence to expect better shots more often. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month. Level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Hey everybody, it's truck season out here in Olive Branch at All Star Chevrolet, and we're walking through all these pre-owned Silverados, Tahoes, High Countries, Trail Bosses, even some F-150s. If you want to order a brand new Chevy truck or just find one here, ask Kevin or Jeff about this week's deals on new Silverados. Financing as low as 0% and no payment for 90 days. And once again, Jeff and Kevin want to thank all of you who are bringing your cars, your trucks, your SUVs you want to sell out here to All Star Chevrolet, because they pay crazy good money, even if you don't buy from them. And even if you owe money on it, bring any car or truck to All-Star Chevrolet and get a check today. Plus, sweet spring deals on combo tire rotation and oil changes, with always great deals on new tires or brake service. Just call Sean or Jeff in the All-Star Chevy Service Department. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Bartlett, Mount Moriah, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Do not. Do so. You do not love Central Barbecue more than me. I've been talking about Central Barbecue for years. I was the first person to do these spots. Well, I may be new doing them, but I want to shout from the rooftops just how much I love it. Okay, smart guy. What are the sides at Central Barbecue? Easy. Home-cooked pork rinds, home-cooked potato chips, greens, green beans, barbecue beans, onion rings, fries, and potato salad. Lucky guess. What can you buy by the pound, huh? Beef brisket, pulled pork, smoked turkey, my favorite, pulled chicken, smoked chicken, and barbecue bologna. Ha! We're out of time. I could do this all day.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Power is everything.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This hour is indeed brought to you by Acura of Memphis on Ridgeway 385 online, AcuraofMemphis.com. Great automobiles, great people to deal with at Acura of Memphis. That's what you're always going to find. It's always a great car buying experience. New vehicles, pre-owned vehicles, whatever it is you're looking for, go see the folks at Acura of Memphis. This is, I was looking, so mentioned earlier last night, Steph Curry going for 50 in the game for the Warriors, although they lost. That 50-point performance was his 7th since turning 30, which passes Michael Jordan and ties him with Wilt Chamberlain for the most ever.
Well, like I said, when we rattle off, hey, who are the top 5, 6, 7, 8 players of all time, we don't seem to put Steph Curry's name in there, and that name should be in there. That name should definitely be amongst those greats.
And I think he might just, I'm trying to find this and I can't. I saw one thing and I don't know where it was, but I think he may only be the second player to put up 50 in a game at 35 or older. And the funny thing, I can't find it, but if that is the case, he just turned 35 the day before. So it's literally his first game as a 35-year-old. He becomes only the second guy ever to score 50 as a 35-year-old.
He had 6 points after the first quarter. I was watching very closely because, again, I needed him to score 30. He scored 50. He's incredible. They double team him. He comes off screens, the quick release from anywhere on the court. We have never seen a shooter we've seen great shooters, but we have never seen anybody like Steph Curry shoot the basketball.
Texter says, Grindhouse will rise as one when Ja Morant makes his debut back and better than ever for the Grizzlies.
I don't think there's any question. Look, it's going to be an incredible night when he returns. People will be there with open arms and warm hearts. I'm still a little confused by some of the things he said in the interview with Jalen Rose. There are still many questions out there that we don't have the answers to. Maybe we'll never have the answers to. If you want to hear more of what we had to say about it, go back and listen to the Sports 56 Mornings podcast, the first hour from 7 to 8. And then we got into it a little bit in the start of the second hour with Sean Coleman. But the first hour, we talked a lot about it, gave our opinions on what we heard yesterday from Ja in his interview with Jalen, but also the decision by the NBA to go 8 games on the suspension and obviously what the Grizzlies have done to deal with him. And as far as the counseling program, I couldn't tell you. A lot of people were asking me, wasn't that quick? How did he get counseled? I don't know. I don't know what it entailed. I don't know how long he was there. I don't know how long it takes to be counseled when you feel pretty good about it. I don't know any of that stuff. But just like we don't know the answer of whose gun that was, as Ja said. But Ja said that's not who he is. And so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But there's no wiggle room now.
It is now official. Bill Self will not coach Kansas today. The school has announced that he will miss today's game. He does continue to progress, but he will be out today, and Norm Roberts will once again serve as the acting coach.
And in the whole Pac-12, Big 12, what's going to happen with the TV deal, TV rights deal in the Pac-12? Will the Big 12 try to steal a couple of those teams, 2 or 4 from the Big 12 or from the Pac-12, or will it be San Diego State and SMU? What's going on in this? Well, Robert Robbins is the president of Arizona. He says he believes a new TV rights deal will be acceptable to everyone in the Pac-12. It will be completed in a couple weeks, and he thinks it could rival or even succeed the Big 12 package. I won't believe it until I see it. He said they have been contacted by the Big 12 as a school, Arizona, to possibly look at moving on to the Big 12. So that continues, that talk, those interviews, whether it be a team that is being courted to come to the Big 12 or the negotiations for a new deal with the Pac-12. But something will come down here very soon, according to the Arizona president. That will do it for us today on this Thursday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. Pinch hitting for Wolos with the Tigers in Columbus, Ohio will be Jay Morgan Harder and Bryant Dacus. Want to thank Sean Coleman and Scott Spinelli for joining us on the show today. Tomorrow we're back bright and early starting at 7 a.m. John Varlas, covering the state basketball tournament, will join us from Parts Unknown. Matt Dillon for the Tiger Basketball Report, as we'll preview the Tigers in Florida Atlantic. We'll recap everything that happens today in the NCAA tournament, preview what will be on tap for tomorrow. We'll talk Grizzlies and Spurs, plus 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. It's all coming up on the program tomorrow. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the basketball. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.